Oh, we knew it. 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 As soon as they announced that Sami Zayn was going to be defending the WWE Championship on Monday, on a show that he really had no business putting the title on the line anyway, because he's a SmackDown star. But as soon as they announced this match on SmackDown, as soon as we realized that Raw was in Chicago this week, you knew something was going to happen. Now, I didn't know it was going to go down exactly the way that it did, but I said this on the sound off, and I think most people probably had that feeling in their stomach, in the pit of their stomach, if they were a Sami Zayn fan, that this championship run was not going to last very long. Enjoy it while you can. Sami Zayn's taking pictures of himself eating pizza with the title sitting on the table. He's drinking his coffee. He's riding around town in his convertible with the championship sitting next to him. It's as if he knew, I need to enjoy life while I still can, because it will only be a fleeting moment before this championship ends up on somebody else. 9 days ago, Sami Zayn won the WWE Championship, and he won it in Riyadh. Now, he had contested for the title earlier this year in Saudi Arabia, and he lost. So he went into Saudi a second time, and he won. For the first time in his career, he won a world championship here on the main roster. And I had people saying, well, you know, the only reason they put the belt on him was because they were in Saudi. And I said, well, I mean, that's not the only reason they put the belt on him, but I'm sure they looked at where they were going to be and they said, hey, if we're going to do this, right, this is as good a time and as good a place as ever, because you know the kind of response he's going to get. And he won the championship and everybody there went crazy, and it was this great moment for him. And now tonight, Raw was in Chicago. And there's another superstar who happens to be from Chicago. All of a sudden, WWE is about these great hometown moments. Maybe this bodes well for Chad Gable in Minneapolis at SummerSlam. Let's hope. But they made the match. It was going to be Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. We got a bait and switch. We did not get Cody Rhodes wrestling Sami Zayn in the main event of tonight's show like we were supposed to, because Gunther showed up and he took out Cody Rhodes at the very beginning of the show. He slammed a car door on his head, and Cody had blood coming down part of his face. This was a show-long storyline tonight. Cody ended up not being medically cleared. And so all of a sudden, we had an opening in the main event. And wouldn't you know, if you think back to a promo that CM Punk had with Cody Rhodes after WrestleMania this year, what was it again? What was it that CM Punk said to Cody Rhodes in that promo? You never know when a championship opportunity may fall out of the sky. And many of us were thinking, Money in the Bank? What does this mean, right? Obviously, it's a foreshadowing of something yet to come. We just didn't know exactly what it was. I had no idea they were going to go with my idea for the King of the Ring finals. I wasn't too far off, as it turned out, when I was talking about bouncing Oba Femi or bouncing this person out of the King of the Ring, and then CM Punk would show up as a surprise and win the entire tournament so he could go to SummerSlam and he could challenge for the WWE Championship. I was only off by about a week. They went with the fucking idea. I was only off by a week. Cody Rhodes gets taken out of the main event. We end up with CM Punk not just coming back on this show, wrestling in the main event of this show. Now, you got to remember the last time we saw CM Punk in a wrestling match, he was defending the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event of WrestleMania as a Raw star. And so the very next time we see CM Punk in a wrestling ring, he's challenging for the WWE Championship. Which effectively, now that he's won it, spoiler, we have a new WWE champion. That now officially puts him on SmackDown. So this was their way of basically getting him off of Raw and making him the new face of Friday nights. Unless you want to say QB1 and QB2 with him and Cody Rhodes. I can't even, before I even talk about Sami and everything that happened on this show and everything that happened in the main event tonight, I can't even sit here and really be too mad because look at the main event that we got on this show. How fucking great was that main event tonight? I mean, I can't go any further without putting that match over. This is the kind of Raw main event that I am starved for. Can I just say that right off the bat, regardless of how I or you or anybody else feels about the decision to do a title change tonight? I feel like we are in an era right now of WWE television, and this goes for Raw and SmackDown, where so many times, so many weeks I come on here and I talk about the show and I'm like, either it was just a straight up bad show, or it was a good show, or it was a show. And it just feels like rarely does anything of any great significance actually happen. Rarely do you see a crowd as loud and electric as this crowd was in Chicago. And I've said before, I think Chicago is the greatest wrestling city in the world. Just consistently over the years. I say that as a New Yorker. I think Chicago is the best wrestling crowd. Obviously, CM Punk is beloved because he's, Chicago made, Chicago born, Chicago bred. This was his big return. He was going to get a big reaction regardless. But from the moment he got into that ring and the bell rang and that main event started, the atmosphere in that building, it felt like a pay-per-view main event. And I can't remember the last time I watched a Monday Night Raw and saw a match that had that kind of atmosphere for a main event. I wish we could get that more often. I wish you could just bottle it up and they could take it with them from city to city every Monday night. They had just an excellent main event. When it was over, it was the predictable outcome. The moment CM Punk walked down to the ring, I even pointed out when the match began, you could see the pyro laying on the stage in preparation for something that was going to happen at the end of this show. And I don't think they were going to give Cody Rhodes his full entrance if he was to come out at some point during this main event. So that kind of gave it away as far as what the outcome of the main event was going to be. CM Punk is once again a world champion here in WWE. Almost 15 years to the day that he won his first WWE Championship from John Cena at Money in the Bank. I believe it would have been in that building in Chicago. Here we are in 2026, and Punk, it's like bar hopping, right? And Punk is straight edge. He doesn't even drink. You're hopping from one bar to the next, right? A few months ago, it was the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, he's got the WWE title. Does CM Punk need the WWE Championship? No, he doesn't. He didn't need the World Heavyweight Championship. But he ended up having what I thought was a strong run with it heading into WrestleMania. So now they put the title on him. Why did they do this? They did it because they have SummerSlam coming up at US Bank Stadium, and they are lagging behind what they were doing for last year's SummerSlam. I pointed this out on the podcast yesterday. Now, it's two different stadiums. This one's a little bit smaller. But when SummerSlam rolled around a year ago, they had over 50,000 tickets sold for night one and about 60,000 for night two. And at last count, they were in the mid-20s for each night of SummerSlam this year. We're less than a month out. It's a two-night stadium show. WWE wants to go with what they feel are going to be the biggest possible attractions on that show, the biggest main events that they could do. We got Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins going one-on-one. It's 2026. We still have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins wrestling in the main event. That's ridiculous. We have CM Punk in main events. Kind of ridiculous, right? You got to admit. And I know a lot of people are going to look at this and go, man, why can't we got to get something new. We got to get somebody younger in there. I will point out to you, by the way, okay, you can't talk about age in this case. Sami Zayn's 41 years old, okay? Everybody's talking about LA Knight. LA Knight's, 42, 43? It's less a matter of age and more a matter of people being sick and tired of the same shit over and over and over again. It's like WWE is allergic to giving new people and new faces opportunities to hold the title or be in these main events. So we get Roman Reigns and we get Seth Rollins and we get CM Punk and we get Cody Rhodes and we get Brock Lesnar, rinse, repeat, right? It's hard to break the cycle. This idea of Cody fatigue, that people are just so sick and tired, and people they're calling him the Golden Boy now on television. They've actually turned it into a fucking nickname on TV. Oh, he's the Golden Boy. Right? But that's how a lot of fans feel. They're sick and tired of Cody Rhodes. They were very happy to see Cody Rhodes lose the championship at Night of Champions. Maybe not so happy about Sami Zayn winning the belt because there was a lot of hate coming Sami's way for winning that belt. But people are looking for something new. They're looking for something different in the main event scene. This is a spot that Sami Zayn had never been in before. Sami Zayn has been with this company, at least in terms of being on the main roster, for a decade. And in that time, he had never been a world champion before. And at times, it felt like maybe it was never going to happen, right? So even though he's been around forever, him winning the world championship was something different. And there were a lot of people who embraced it. And at the same time, they also felt really happy for him. Because here's a guy who worked his ass off, had great matches, was always very reliable, very entertaining in whatever role they would put him in. And so finally, he had his moment of glory, right? He had his moment in the sun. And I never expected it to be a long run. I mean, I told you guys that. I said, don't expect anything long. By SummerSlam, he's going to drop the belt. If he even makes it to SummerSlam. I was thinking maybe Saturday night's main event. He may not make it beyond Madison Square Garden. I had no idea that they were going to take the belt off of him 9 days later. Even I have to sit here and I look at that and I go, you couldn't give the guy one successful title defense. Not one. He did not get one successful title defense. And yet, there have been worse. Talk to Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio knows what it's like to go from the highest of highs in hour 1 to go to the lowest of lows in hour 2. Okay? It could have been worse. It's kind of hard to believe, but it could have been worse. But I think a lot of the anger that you're going to see from people, it's not even a matter of, oh, Sami Zayn. It's a matter of, we're tired of Cody Rhodes. We're tired of the same old, and it was nice to just get the belt onto somebody else, and let's give somebody else an opportunity to run with it and see where it goes. And they never even thought to extend it out until SummerSlam, because for SummerSlam, they want the biggest possible match they can do, which is very clearly going to be CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. Although I would argue there is no reason that Sami Zayn should not be a part of that match. My hope coming into this show tonight was that when it was over, somehow, even though I wasn't expecting it, but my hope was that somehow Sami Zayn could squeak by. And then maybe we get a triple threat match. Punk's going to come back. You get Punk, you get Cody, you get Sami, triple threat at SummerSlam. Why not? You still get Cody and Punk in the ring together. They can still do that. If Cody Rhodes is going to end up being in a championship match at SummerSlam and he wants his rematch, well, then why would Sami Zayn not deserve a rematch? Now, knowing WWE, they'll just have Cody against Sami in a non-title match on television in a few weeks, and Cody will fucking beat him. And that'll be the end of it. As if this isn't bad enough, they'll shovel some more dirt on the corpse, and they'll do the singles match they want to do at SummerSlam. But honestly, if you just look at it logically, both men deserve a rematch. It should be a triple threat. That's the only way that Sami Zayn is going to get on this SummerSlam card. Unless Johnny Gargano stops planking and he rises from the dead and they want to do fucking Sami Zayn and Johnny Gargano. It's a fucking main event match. Okay, they're not doing that at SummerSlam. The only way Sami Zayn gets on that SummerSlam card at this point is if they turn this into a triple threat scenario. Otherwise, we are looking at a very real possibility that he doesn't even make SummerSlam this year, which would be a huge slap in the face because he's been the best part of that Friday night show now for a few months. So you really want to kick the guy in the dick. That's how you do it. So I get it. I get there's going to be people very upset. I said coming into this, I'm torn. I'm torn because on the one hand, I fucking hate that they took this championship off Sami in 9 days. Yes, there have been worse. You could have given him a little more time. There was no reason not to put the belt on him and at least let him run with it and get 1 or 2 defenses under his belt. There was no reason for it. So I hated the idea of him losing the championship this soon. On the other hand, the fact that they want to do Cody Rhodes and CM Punk at SummerSlam, I get it. It's one of the biggest matches that they could do. It's a match I want to see. I was hoping we would get it at WrestleMania this year. Didn't pan out that way. If that's the match they're going to do in Minneapolis, I'm cool with it. It's a big match, but I still feel like Sami needs to be worked into that match. Story-wise, it would not be very hard at all to get him involved instead of just sort of shunning him to the side. And that's my hope now coming out of this, is that he's not just forgotten about. Okay, we gave him his little run. We gave him his token title run so everybody in Riyadh can celebrate. And all the people on the internet who love Sami Zayn, they could rejoice. He got his moment, and now his moment is over. Off to the side. I hope that's not what happens here. Even though I will tell you, this was it for Sami Zayn as WWE Champion. Because he ain't winning this belt back again. That much I will tell you. I don't believe for a second that Sami Zayn is getting this belt back. So it sucks that the run came to an end as quickly as it did. If it was going to end tonight, though, he went out with a bang. Because like I said, that match, I thought it was just an excellent main event. There are worse ways that run could have ended in terms of a roll-up, something in 30 seconds, some kind of bullshit finish, right? Some overbooked mess. These two guys went out there in the main event tonight. They had a fucking great wrestling match. It's the kind of match that if you're a performer, I would imagine that you live for this. You live for this. So at least they were able to go out there and have a great match. One of the best, frankly, if not best TV matches all year. Maybe not the best, but one of the best television matches of the year. But I'm torn because they did him dirty tonight. At the end of the day, they did Sami Zayn dirty. And I knew it going in. I was hoping, though, I was holding out hope. Now here we are. We have another Summer of Punk. I don't know how many this is. This is what, the third one now, I guess, maybe fourth. We had the one in Ring of Honor many years ago. We had the one in WWE in 2011. We had one kind of, I guess, in AEW. This would be what, number 4? I don't know. But they mentioned that, I think, on commentary, that we have another Summer of Punk here. I just think, in terms of Sami Zayn, Sami is one of those guys where if you keep the belt on him for a little while longer and have him defend it against a few different people, a lot of people would have expected that he was going to drop it quickly. I think it was also a missed opportunity to have some drama, in some of these title matches where there would have been an expectation going in that he could lose this championship at any given moment on any given night. And you've also taken that away now. That could have made for some fun, title defenses on TV, maybe between now and SummerSlam. So as I think about this now in my head, that's also, something else that we miss out on. CM Punk being back obviously is a big feather in their cap. It's a big name for them to get back. There are other people right now, including your World Heavyweight Champion on Raw, who can't be bothered to wrestle on TV. Roman Reigns has his belt. He comes out on television. He wants people to acknowledge him, and he defends on some of the PLEs. And that's the best you're going to get at this point. With Punk, I could see him defending the championship here and there on television, having some TV title defenses, so that could be good. SmackDown certainly could use the boost. Look, if you're talking in terms of sheer star power, CM Punk gives SmackDown a boost that Sami Zayn does not give that show, because Punk is a bigger star than Sami Zayn is. Punk going to SmackDown is the right move. It's going to inject some new life into this show. I'm happy that they've made that move. And the match with Cody would seem to be the play. And by the way, whatever the title match is at SummerSlam, it will involve Cody. Cody should not win the championship back, because we have now seen the title change hands twice recently. And I'm okay with that. I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, why are you playing hot potato with the... Now, you know what hot potato with the WWE title would be? Changing it 3, 4, 5 times in the span of a few months. We're not there yet. But I'm sorry. Like, these are shows that for the longest time have been a fucking bore. So you know what? If they want to spice it up a little bit and have a title change here and there, I'm not opposed to that. But I also don't want them to go overboard with it. And like, we go to SummerSlam and Punk defends the title and Cody gets the belt back. We can't be doing that. You took the belt off Cody. Keep it off of him. What they did was they wanted to use Sami as a transitional champion to get the belt on Punk without Punk beating Cody for it. Sami was the conduit for that. He is the definition of a transitional champion. That is what he will go down in history. But now that Punk has the belt, you got to keep it on him for a while. I don't want to see Cody Rhodes with this belt back at SummerSlam. I'm willing to bet a lot of you have no desire. They have no appetite to see Cody Rhodes just get the belt back at SummerSlam. To me, if that's where we end up at the end of all this, then what the fuck was the point of any of this? What would the fucking point of any of this be if at the end of SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes is standing there with the WWE title? So this is going to be a very interesting period now. If they can control themselves and not have a belt on Cody, what do they do with him when he's not the champion? Are they more open to the idea, all of a sudden, of a Cody Rhodes heel turn? Certainly feel like we're closer to it now than we were 6 months ago, where it would, in my mind, would have been completely stupid. Now, can't discount the possibility that maybe we could finally build to something like that. That would certainly add a new dimension to his character and make him a little more interesting to people. But I just think, again, if at the end of all of this, they put the belt back on Cody, then I have absolutely no idea what the point of any of this was. It was certainly a very eventful close to the show tonight. There'll be a big post-mortem, I'm sure, on this title reign, if you can call it that, of Sami Zayn. But we have a new WWE champion, and that was not the only title that changed hands on this show tonight. We also have new tag team champions. The Vision. This is not what I was hoping for. In fact, there have been reports of late that the Vision could potentially be going the way of the dinosaur, that there is an internal discussion, and maybe there still is an internal debate in WWE about, do we split them up? Do we keep them together? Either way, Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman are going to be kept together, which is fine. I think the Vision, it's past its expiration date. I mean, you could say the same thing about the Judgment Day at this point. Just blow them all up. What they did tonight on the show was the exact opposite. They made it seem like the Vision is going to be not only kept together, they're going to add new members to the Vision and try to make it even stronger. They put the tag team belt right back on them. Maxine Dupree turned heel. So I guess Maxine Dupree now is the first official female member of the Vision. So the Vision ain't going nowhere for a while. Braun Breaker was back on the show tonight. I was hoping to see him out there spearing Theory out of his boots. Instead, he's just doing what he usually does. I mean, he lost to Seth Rollins. He doesn't seem terribly bothered by it. He didn't seem terribly pissed off or upset. And the focus wasn't even on him tonight. The focus was on Maxine Dupree. Of everybody in the Vision, the focus tonight was on Maxine Dupree. And Braun Breaker, like Logan Paul, was just sort of in the background. Not a fan of that. I am a fan of them doing this gauntlet match on the show next week. We're going to find out next Monday who the number one contender is going to be for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. And there's like 7 guys in this gauntlet. One of those men is Chad Gable. And I will tell you now, if anybody, and Javon Evans is in there too, and Dragon Lee and Rusev and Ethan Page, if anybody but Chad Gable wins that gauntlet next week, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. And that includes Javon. I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. Javon Evans should not be going to SummerSlam to wrestle Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. One man should be going to Minneapolis in his hometown to wrestle for that championship, coming off all the momentum he had with the AAA match, which was only not even a couple of months ago. That man is Chad Gable. They have one job next week on the show, which is to put Chad Gable over in the gauntlet and send him to Minneapolis to wrestle for the Intercontinental Championship. And hopefully that is the way that will play out. But that gauntlet next week, considering some of the talent that's in there, that should be really good. Like they've done gauntlet matches on Raw before. Some of them have been kind of a bore. And then some of them could go the length of an entire hour. And some of them have been really good. There was actually a really good one many years ago that Seth Rollins was in. I don't think he won. But I don't remember what the match was or what the circumstances were. So that's coming up on the show next week. We had no Roman Reigns. We had no Brock Lesnar on the show tonight. We did hear from their SummerSlam opponents. They were on the show. I will also point out it was yet another week without a single Women's World Championship defense by Liv Morgan since she won the title at WrestleMania. They have just completely given up on the idea of her putting the belt up against anybody. They're just going to wait until SummerSlam. She'll defend it against Io Sky, and hopefully she will fucking lose, because this is by far the worst Women's Championship run that I have ever seen. Like, this is awful. This is absolutely awful. They have given her nothing to work with. Stephanie Vicaire is unavailable. Whatever the issue is, visa, whatever the fuck it is, she's unavailable. They have no idea what to do with this woman. You talk about being caught flat-footed. I could just imagine when the news was delivered to them in the meeting. Hey, we don't have Stephanie. We may not have her back for a while. What do we do? Well, we'll just have her come out with the other members of the Judgment Day every week. She'll be a manager. We got nothing better for her to do. It's unbelievable. Yet another week of no title defenses. Amazing. We got a lot to get into here. It was a very eventful show. I will say that. We need more Raws like this. I actually thought on the whole, I would say it was a good show because it didn't bore me. This is how I grade these WWE shows now, because so many of them are just so lackluster, and it just feels like if I missed this show, I really didn't miss anything, right? I like it when shit goes down that's important, that we can talk about, whether it makes you happy or it pisses you off. At least something happened. And there were multiple things that happened on the show. We're going to talk about them. This is your Raw Netflix review. It is Monday night. It is July 6th, 2026. I am the Solomonster. Speaking of things that have happened on TV shows over the years, or pay-per-views, July 6th is a very special day, because 29 years ago, on this day, one of the greatest matches in WWE history took place at the Calgary Stampede. It was at the Canadian Stampede pay-per-view. It was the Hart Foundation against Team USA. The building was literally shaking. Kudos to the Vault, by the way. WWE Vault, they uploaded the entire match, all 30-plus minutes of it, earlier today on the Vault channel, so if you want to watch it. And start with the entrances. You talk about an electric atmosphere. Holy shit. So that was 29 years ago on this date. But also on this day 28 years ago, and this was on free TV, on Monday Nitro, we had Goldberg beating Hollywood Hogan at the Georgia Dome to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. It was the peak of Goldberg. It was the peak of Nitro. It was the peak of WCW. It's like Darby Allin reaching the summit of Mount Everest. And then when you reach the summit, you begin your descent. That was the beginning of the descent of WCW. But what a match that was. 40,000 people in the Georgia Dome, lifts Hogan up for the jackhammer, pins him. You look out, the sea of fans, everybody, they're high-fiving each other. They're so happy. Oh my God, the NWO is dead. Or so they thought. So you talk about historic moments in wrestling history. That was certainly one of them. 28 years ago today. How about that? Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. I sure would appreciate it. Super chats are open. I see we're already more than halfway to our bonus goal, which is very cool. You know what else is very cool? I got to give all of you a shout out. How about this? How about this? Cody Rhodes. They talk about Cody Rhodes finishing his story at WrestleMania a few years ago. Guess who finished his story today? Oh, yes. Check this out. As of this morning, number 1 on the Apple Podcast charts for wrestling podcasts, the latest episode of the Solomonster sounds off. Episode 970. We finished the story. We finally topped Cornette. Number 1. That doesn't happen without you guys. So I got to give all of you a big thank you. Thank you for downloading and streaming and supporting and listening to the podcast. It was a good one yesterday. So I could not go any further without just bringing that up and saying thank you. We have finished the story. Hopefully this is not the peak of the sound off. WWE, ever since Cody finished his story at WrestleMania 40, it's been all downhill. They have not been able to find a story since then to match that one. I would like to think that this is only the beginning, that this is not the peak. Yeah, Solomonster #1 before GTA 6. I pulled it off. Let's do it again next week. How about that? Also, I want to just mention for those of you who may have missed it, I did get a video up yesterday because, of course, I dropped the sound off. And as soon as the podcast went out, this fucking Sheamus news broke. So I decided to record a separate video with what we know about the Sheamus situation. I went on camera for that. That's up on the YouTube channel as well. So if you missed that, you can go back and check that out. All right, let's bring it back to me. Let's bring out the wheel. The wheel is out of the shop. The wheel is working again. So we're going to spin it, find out how many likes we need. Be kind of funny if it lands on a number we've already beaten. Let's see. 390. We need 390 likes. So if we hit 390, then we are guaranteed at least the one round of Be the Booker. Hey, artist AJ Moore. AJ, what's going on, brother? Thank you for the sub. Hit that sub button if you are lurking in the shadows. That way you can be a part of our little community here. Have we already beaten it? We have, haven't we? I think yes. Okay, we've already hit. Oh my God, Mantar. Oh my God, I have not heard the Mantar bellow for so long. When was the last time we heard that? Holy shit. It's been a while since we've heard that. He has been awoken. I don't think he's happy about Sami Zayn losing the WWE Championship. Well, we've already hit the goal. So now I guess we're just working on the bonus goal. See what you guys can pull off there. All right, let's get into this show. We're going to take it from the top because, like I said, there was a lot that went down here. It was basically a show-long storyline with the Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes stuff. And it started right from the top. It started right... Oh, thank God we had no Brie mode tonight. We saved that for SmackDown. You know, Brie was very upset. I know on her podcast, she talked about only getting 3 minutes for her match with... You know, at this rate, I think she may get more airtime on this stream than she does on WWE television. Actually, I think we just... did we? Yes, we did. Oh, my God. We hit the bonus goal. Son of a bitch. How about that? My God. We did. We hit the bonus goal. Well, here's what we're going to do. Because we already hit the bonus goal, we have to up the ante here. So before I move on here, it's kind of anticlimactic if we already got the job done. I'm going to set a new goal. Maybe we'll get 3 rounds to Be the Booker tonight. See if we could start a new one. Let's see if it lets me. There we go. All right, this is the bonus. We're going to do a whole card of Be the Booker if we hit this goal. All right, so Sami Zayn, he arrived to the arena in a convertible. He's been riding around in a convertible now for a while. You can follow him on social media. You'll see all the, I think he posted a video or images of him, and the belt is in the driver's seat, or he's in the driver's seat. The belt's in the passenger seat. So he arrives at the building, and Cody was standing backstage. Sami, of course, was all smiles. Things got heated between the two of them when Gunther showed up. Now, Gunther was not supposed to be there. Gunther was supposedly sent home after his little brouhaha with Nick Aldis after Night of Champions, but here he is. And so Gunther is there. He power bombs Cody through a table that happened to be nearby. And he looks at Sami. He goes, "You're welcome." And he tells Sami that Cody is no longer your problem. I am. Gunther told Sami that he was coming for him. So then Gunther looks over. He sees Cody is crawling towards Sami's car. And he goes over and he kicks the driver's side door, right into Cody's head. And Cody had some blood kind of, coming down his head a little bit there. And yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, uh-oh. Angle alert. Are they going to swap him out for somebody else in the main event? Michael Cole and Corey Graves wondered the same thing. They wondered, what does this mean for the main event here on this show? Seth Rollins was then out to the ring to address the Chicago crowd. He was promptly met by chants of CM Punk. My favorite thing on this show was listening to Michael Cole and or Corey Graves have to feign surprise when CM Punk showed up at the end of the show, and also talk about how Sami Zayn seemingly had no idea. He's shocked. He is absolutely shocked that CM Punk would be on the show, even though the fans have been chanting CM Punk the entire night, off and on, including when Sami Zayn came out to the ring. So I always love it when they have to just play stupid. They just have to play dumb. But yes, they were chanting for CM Punk here in this segment. Rollins said he couldn't care less about him because Punk is not his business right now. The World Heavyweight Championship is. Roman Reigns is his business. And the fans didn't like hearing that. The fans are funny, man. Obviously, you would expect them to cheer for Punk here in Chicago, but they cheer for Roman Reigns, even though he's a heel. They chant OTC. Anybody who speaks ill of Roman Reigns, they boo that person. LA Knight got booed. I don't know where they were, but a few weeks ago on TV, he hates Roman Reigns. He hates the bloodline, and they love LA Knight, except when he bashes Roman, and then they boo him. And then he's got to turn it around and be like, oh, I get it. I get why you guys would like him. I get it. But, he's up there a little bit. He said Roman Reigns is not here tonight, and he doesn't like it either. But Roman didn't show up because he didn't think it benefited him. Either that or the check wasn't big enough. From day one, Roman has been the chosen one. Nobody ever wants to hold him accountable. The Shield debuted as a trio, but it was made very clear that Roman was the chosen one. Roman was the one who was going to be the big star, no matter if he couldn't cut a promo or wrestle his way out of a wet paper bag. That didn't sit right with Seth. He points out a little boy in the crowd, somewhere in the front row. He goes, that was me. I was that boy. He sat in the stands. He wanted to be a pro wrestler his entire life. He wanted to main event WrestleManias. He wanted to be the biggest star in the industry. To watch those dreams be handed off to somebody else broke something in him. Every decision he made after that is in response to watching his dreams get handed to somebody that he didn't think deserved it. He broke up the Shield. He cashed in at WrestleMania in the main event to stick close to Roman Reigns. He believed that if he put in the work and believed in himself that he could still achieve those dreams. But they weren't running in the same race. A couple of years ago, Roman said something about him that changed everything for him. He admitted that Seth worked 10 times harder, but Roman made 10 times the money that Seth did. Isn't that the thing about life? You could have somebody who doesn't work nearly as hard as you do, and yet somehow they'll find more success than you, or they'll make more money than you, right? I think that's a wrestling thing. I think that's a life thing. Believe me, there's a lot of very frustrated people out there who could probably relate to that. So in this case, it just irked him to no end. He said that it was bullshit, is what he called it. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about living in a mansion. The reward was the work. The ability to come in and make something of himself. Roman has to beat Seth at SummerSlam because he needs to justify what he's been trying to prove to himself for the last 15 years. And that's not a case of, him being the tribal chief or the OTC or anything like that. To Roman has to prove that he is not a fraud. He has to do the one thing he hasn't been able to do in a big match. Beat Seth. If you can't beat Seth, then he's a fraud. Seth needs to beat Roman just as much. He needs to prove to himself and his 5-year-old self that through sacrifice, hard work, and dreams, you can still achieve greatness. And I'm not going to lie to you. This promo was boring me. I was surprised I didn't start dozing off here. This was not the most exciting Seth Rollins promo that we have gotten out of him. Not that anything that he was saying here was wrong. I mean, he's trying to throw some more gasoline on the fire for his SummerSlam match, and there's only so much you can do when your opponent doesn't show up to work. So he did what he could here in this promo to make the key points he wanted to make. But yeah, this wasn't working. And it wasn't working in Chicago because, again, CM Punk chants during a Seth Rollins promo. Seth Rollins doesn't like CM Punk. He's cutting a promo on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, super popular with the crowd. Fans didn't want to hear it. They were very quiet. They did not want to hear what this man was trying to sell them. Thankfully, it was boring LA Knight as well, who interrupted. And he came out to save the day. He said that there was no way that for 2 weeks in a row, he was just going to sit there and listen to this again. Said Roman and Seth bore everyone to sleep every week with the same old trash. Yippee skippy, he said. Put that on a t-shirt. I'll buy that. Yippee skippy with the LA Knight logo on the back. He said they bloviated all over each other. What a great cheat code. All they had to do was talk about how great they were, and Seth gets a title shot. Knight remembers when you had to win matches in tournaments to get title shots. They both lost in the first round of the King of the Ring, but the difference between them is that Knight's not making a claim to the title for nostalgia's sake. These two guys come out there, brother, I gotta beat you. Brother. He was morphing into Hogan here for a second. That or Russo, I don't know. I guess Russo would be bro. God, he was morphing into Hogan. You don't do that. You don't want to morph into Hogan. So he's mocking them. Again, brother this, brother that. They're the greatest of all time. Greatest at what? He said. Knight hasn't been here as long as Seth has, and he'll never catch him as far as world title shots go. But when business was starting to peak a couple of years ago, who was the man on top? He said he'll give some credit to Cody Rhodes, but everybody was saying, and everybody chants, LA Knight. He said he was making his rise, but he got cut off by the bloodline. Then he got cut off by the Vision. Here we are again. The bloodline is trying to hold him down again, but they can't. Roman and Seth are the two biggest vomits in the business. They can't stop LA Knight because he must rise. So Seth goes, "Are you done?" He says, "I don't like you, but I respect you." Knight is a shining example of everything that he described. Hard work, hustle, and grind. He believes his time will come. It's very optimistic of him. Right now, Seth can't worry about LA Knight because he has to go to SummerSlam and get the belt back that he never lost. But after he gets it back, Knight can be the first person he puts in the dirt. And so Rollins, he goes to leave. And after Knight turns around, Jimmy Uso is in the ring. And Jimmy is waiting for him, and Knight eats the foot off the super kick. Jimmy is obviously still mad about what's been going on over the last...
the amazing Gunther.
Oh, my.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
All hail the mighty Gunther. We must bring him a sacrifice. So I will give you guys a chance to think of what your sacrifice will be that you will bring. Oh, wow. We just hit the bonus goal. Okay, well, all right, I'm gonna up the ante a little bit here. That's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go overboard here. This probably ain't gonna happen, but fuck it. There you go. We got a new one now. So anyway, he ate the super kick, and then Jimmy retreated into the crowd. He was mouthing off as he was leaving, keep my family's name out of your mouth. I should point out to you that it was already 25 minutes past the top of the hour, really, since the show started. It was like 8:25. We had a lot of talking on this show. We had yet to have any actual match. I guess we had some action in terms of Cody getting bloodied up backstage. We got a power bomb through a table backstage by Gunther. That was the extent to which we had any action up to this point on the show. Seth Rollins. Here's the thing about the Seth Rollins promo. Seth Rollins is the de facto babyface, right?
I am the
Shut the fuck up. Fuck that tree. That's right. You tell him. You tell him, Death Scythe. Thank you, brother. What I was going to say is that in this segment, Rollins was only the fourth most over guy who was mentioned or appeared. Punk, Roman, LA Knight. Rollins was number 4. Rollins is the one who's going to SummerSlam to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a bad look. It was a bad look that he was only the fourth most over guy in this entire segment. Look, it's hard for me to sit here and get excited about, LA Knight is, giving it to Seth Rollins, because the promo that Knight cut here was so much better than Seth's. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, maybe they're positioning him for Seth, but then I catch myself and I'm like, you got to stop doing that, because we've been here before. Like, we have been here before multiple times where Knight comes out in the middle of a segment like this, or he confronts, whoever it is, the top heel or babyface or whatever. And it's like, okay, maybe they're planning something with him, right? Maybe there's something in the works. There's nothing in the works. You know what's in the works? A 6-man tag is in the works. That's what's in the works for him at SummerSlam. And coming out of SummerSlam, I don't expect anything to be any different for him. If it is, great. I'll be the first to come on here and say, I didn't see it coming. But, when you would like to see someone kind of elevated to a position higher than the one that they're in, doing something more meaningful than what they have them doing, and time after time after time, it just doesn't happen, despite the reactions that he continues to get. After a while, you're like, okay, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 7 times. After that, yeah, I'm not really going to expect much out of it. So he was the star of this segment here, but beyond that, do I think it's actually leading to something tangible, meaningful for him? I don't. We go to the back. Adam Pearce and Gunther, they were arguing as Gunther was being escorted out of the building. But hold on a second. Nick Aldis is here. It's as if he was never sent home in the first place. Even though he was sent home on administrative leave. He showed up to work anyway. Who does that? Who gets sent home and just shows up to work anyway? If you're sent home on administrative leave, I guess technically you're still being paid. I would guess. But anyway, so here he is. And so he's yelling at Gunther. Pearce is getting in between them, trying to keep the two of them apart. Gunther says Aldis was a failed wrestler, and now he's a failed general manager. So after Gunther left, Pearce and Aldis, they got into it. Aldis was very upset that Pearce poached his main event and was doing it on Raw instead of doing it on SmackDown, which he's right, by the way. The WWE Championship, there's no real reason for it to be defended on this show other than it was going to be CM Punk in the match. So he was very upset about this. And Pearce said, well, I'm running both shows now because of you. And Aldis said, yeah, and you're doing a really crappy job. He said, Cody getting injured and potentially being out of tonight's main event, that's on you. Where has this been, by the way? We need more of this. We have these general managers that are they're very deferential to each other. They work together. They don't really do a lot in terms of trades and things of that nature. We need more, we need more animus like this between the two GMs, right? It sparks good competition between the brands. We need to see more of this between these two. We had the Street Profits, finally, a match. Street Profits defending the World Tag Team titles against Braun Breaker and Austin Theory, representing the Vision. During the commercial break, the Street Profits, they got the Jey Uso entrance. They were or the Death Riders entrance. They were coming through the crowd. And I don't know what was going on with Montez Ford. He gets to the barricade at ringside, and the security guard is sitting there, right up against the barricade in a chair. And Ford gets right up in his face. Basically, his crotch is level with the security guard's face. And he starts thrusting himself. He's thrusting his pelvis into the security guard's face. He is gyrating in this man's face. I think he was trying to break him. And the security guy is just looking at him, and he's just kind of shaking his head. He has no idea, what's going on here. Dawkins is looking at Ford. He's got a look on his face like, what the fuck are you doing? He was on something. I don't know what was going on here. So in the back after the break, Jackie Redmond was about to interview Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, Logan Paul. Yes. Another NDA is about to be signed here in WWE. We already have a lot of them. We probably have so many more that we don't even know about. What's another non-disclosure agreement? But Jackie is about to interview the Vision when Paul Heyman shows up. He tells Braun Breaker, don't worry about that spear through the barricade a few weeks ago. He told Breaker, you didn't even take out Seth Rollins. Then he looked at Austin Theory and he said, you didn't even take out Joe Hendry. As if they can't bury Joe Hendry any more than they already have with the way he's been used. Tag team titles, he says. Street Profits. He says, come back with something worthy of your wise man, or don't come back to me at all. And he walked off. Late in the match, the Profits hit the Doomsday Blockbuster to Theory. Braun Breaker broke up the pin attempt that followed. Logan Paul was out there, and he tried to pass the brass knucks to Theory. Referee was right there. So the referee caught him. Referee put his foot on the knucks, and he went to go remove them. But it was all a decoy because Logan passed another set of knucks to Braun Breaker. Dawkins, though, was able to get them before he could use them. He was about to use them on Theory. Referee was distracted. I don't remember exactly where the referee was at this exact moment, but Maxine Dupree crawls into the ring from behind Angelo Dawkins and delivers a low blow. And Austin Theory then covers Dawkins. 1, 2, 3. And the Vision are once again the World Tag Team Champions. Braun Breaker is yet again a Tag Team Champion, as if he needs that. Tag Team Champion with Austin Theory. As they're leaving, they're in the aisleway. Maxine races over to Theory, jumps up in his arms, and they start making out. They are swapping spit. They're smooching right there in the aisleway. So they're the new it couple, I guess, in WWE. And again, the focus was on Theory and Maxine. Focus was not on Braun Breaker here. That's why I said Braun Breaker just felt like a bit player in the background here. So the we talk about Sami Zayn being the WWE champion for 9 days. The Street Profits, they got the titles for 2 weeks. And now the Vision has the belts back, which means, unfortunately, they are not being disbanded anytime in the near future, which is terrible. That's a double whammy of suck right there, because this is not a group that needs to be together anymore. As far as Maxine finally going heel, I'll say this. This may be the best role for her. She may excel in this role. I'd rather see her in this role than have her back in the ring attempting to have, matches every single week that are not going to be very good, because she's just not getting enough time in the ring to improve and get better at the rate that she would need to. This might be a role that she excels in. I'm just happy they paid off all of these little, backstage teases and these little backstage segments that they've been kind of dropping on us over the last few months. At least we finally got some kind of payoff to it. So it's the best I can say about that. At least as far as she goes, not a bad role for her to be in. I do wonder if they got the belts off the Street Profits. Bianca Belair, I think, is due any week. right? When she showed up at WrestleMania, she was 6 months along. So she's probably due to give birth very soon. And so I wonder if maybe that played a role in them losing the belts, if we're not going to be seeing the Street Profits on TV for a bit. I know Angelo Dawkins and his wife, they're also expecting their third child, I think, but I don't think that's until September. But they both have babies on the way. That could have factored into, them getting the belts. Let's put the belts on them and get them a win, and then get the belts off because they may not be available soon. That's my Austin theory about this. So anyway, there was a doctor in the back who was checking on Cody, and Adam Pearce comes in, and the doctor looks at Pearce and he goes, "Sorry, I can't sign off on this. I can't clear him." And Cody, of course, is like, no, I'm fine. And Pearce says, "Okay, look, we have to get scans done. We have an ambulance outside. Maybe we can get him to the ambulance. We can do the scans here. And let's see, before you make a final diagnosis or a final decision, let's get him into the scans and see what they say." And so off they went. But it didn't look good. Elsewhere in the back, the Vision is in a very celebratory mood. Logan Paul tells the other Vision members how happy he is and proud he is of them. Paul Heyman shows up. He says, "That's a good first step, but it's only a first step." But he admits, maybe I'm being too harsh. At least somebody accomplished something tonight. In theory, he looks at him and goes, "Thank you, Paul." And Heyman tells him, "I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about her." And off he goes. So Heyman left, and then the other members of the Vision, they got into their SUV. As soon as the SUV pulled away, that's when Otis and Tozawa showed up. They came running out. They watched as the SUV drove off. They were crestfallen. They were devastated at this turn of events with Maxine Dupree. I can't wait until they confront her next week and she pulls a Stephanie McMahon and smacks the shit out of them. So yes, the Alpha Academy is greatly dismayed at this turn of events. Hey, Melik Gaiman screams for Kyrie. Thank you for the $20, brother. Theory accomplishing something. Yes. You had a good laugh at that, didn't you, Roderick? Oh, man. Alpha Academy Vision feud for the rest of the summer. Why? Why even bring that up?
It's the amazing Gunther.
Although I guess it would keep the Vision out of the main event
Jerry
scene.
Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Randy Bobandy busting out Gunther. What is that? His second appearance tonight for Gunther? Theory is so much better as a babyface. I don't disagree with you on that. I think he's been miscast for a while now. I thought coming out of the Waller stuff, we were going to get a babyface run. That would have made a difference and worked. Who knows? I think he's got a good babyface run in him, but they just insist on keeping him as a heel. Now, next week, this is where they made the announcement. On the show next week, we're going to be getting a gauntlet match to crown a number one contender for Penta's Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. And in this gauntlet, we have Chad Gable, Dragon Lee, Joe Hendry, which means he's actually going to get a fucking entrance next week. Holy shit. I just realized. His first official entrance. I'm not counting tonight. We'll get to him in a little bit. But Joe Hendry will be in there. Javon Evans, Dominic Mysterio, Ethan Page, and Rusev. One of those men will challenge Penta for the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. There's only one option here. They have one job. Don't fuck this up. Jackie Redmond interviewed the Intercontinental champion, Penta, who was interrupted by Ethan Page and Rusev. Page said that Rey Mysterio is not going to be in the gauntlet because he's on the shelf. after being in the ring with him. Wasn't Rey Mysterio just on the AAA show? Looking fine. Introducing Damian Priest. He looks okay to me. Wouldn't call that on the shelf. So Dragon Lee showed up, and he told Paige, watch what you say about Rey. Rusev said that Dragon Lee better learn English or he would squash him too. Chad Gable showed up. He got in Rusev's face. Paige pulled Rusev back. He said that they could talk to Adam Pearce about making a tag team match tonight, which actually ended up being, up until the main event, was the best thing on the show in ring-wise. Obviously, this ended up being number 2 best thing on the entire show, but they set that match up for a little bit later on in the night, and oh my goodness, we have got another goal unlocked. You guys got to help me keep track here. Is that number 4? I believe that's number 4. That might be the first time that we have broken 4.
Look at Richie Rich over
Bonus
here dropping
goals.
all this money on me. Hey, I just want you to know, I think you rock. I don't mean The Rock, A Rock, you rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
Well, if that doesn't deserve a yes chant, I don't know what does. That was James Crawford. I'm good. Okay, so I'm putting one more up. This is for shits and giggles. I mean, I'll give you the bonus round again, but I mean, this is just for me to see how crazy you guys can possibly be. They keep getting locked because you guys are hitting the goals here. Let me see something here. Just set a new one. You guys got to help me keep track of this. You guys have earned 5. God, got 5 rounds to go. My goodness. Oh my God. James Crawford though says, I love you, Solo. You are my IWC tribal chief. See, it feels good. I get it now when Roman comes out and wants to be acknowledged every week. It does feel good to be acknowledged. Everybody just wants to be acknowledged at least once in their life, right? Roman gets to come out every week. Yeah, right. Whenever he's on the show, and he does it all the time in every city. It feels good. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. About to be live until 5 a.m. Yeah, I don't know about that. Sol Ruca. Let's talk about Sol Ruca against Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Sol missed a moonsault to the floor, landed on her feet, though. Then she hit a springboard twisting body press onto Raquel, who was on the floor. Back inside, Sol flipped out of a chokeslam attempt, but she got wasted. I mean, absolutely wasted.
Fatality.
Holy shit, this clothesline, she got wrecked by a clothesline by Raquel, and that took us into a commercial break. They showed a slow-mo replay of it. Man, it looked brutal. So Roxanne Perez showed up late in the match. She got up on the apron to distract the referee. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan tripped up Sol on the ropes when she went for a Soul Snatcher. Raquel then dropped Sol with a side slam. That was a good near fall. I thought she might have it there. Io Sky's music hit, and she came from the crowd to take out Perez and Morgan. She got Raquel's attention briefly as she was standing on the apron. And when Raquel charged at her, Io hit an acai moonsault, and she wiped out the other 2 members of the Judgment Day out on the floor. It always scares me when she does that, especially when she does it on the side where the announcers are. You know, I don't like that. You got that podium there with the belt. You got the edge of the announce desk. She always comes like so close to it. She's gonna hit the back of her head on there one day. So she took them out, and then Sol came out of nowhere and hit the Soul Snatcher to put it away. I like how the camera angle for this was zoomed out in the event that she fucks up the move. I'm almost positive that's why they did that. But she didn't fuck it up. She nailed it, and she retains her championship. This was a solid match here from these two. You know, if Sol was not so early into her reign as champion, because she's had the belt since what, Clash in Italy, I believe. So it's been a little over a month as Sami Zayn weeps somewhere. But she's still very early into this run. I would say put the belt on Raquel. But the timing just isn't right for it. I don't think the timing is right anyway for this story that they seem to be telling with the Judgment Day. I always think like things are going to finally blow up between Liv and Raquel. And the thing with the Judgment Day is they drag everything out. Everything is just dragged out until it either doesn't happen or it doesn't mean anything. And the Judgment Day has been around now for literally for years. I mean, you talk about a faction that has outlived its usefulness. It was very useful for a while. Very, very beneficial to Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Dom, JD McDonough, Raquel. I think Raquel really benefited, from being a part of this crew. I mean, it benefited Liv. I don't know that Liv needed it per se, but again, it's mostly a women's faction now. You got Dom and you got JD, and that's it. And it's like, all right, it's kind of like running on fumes now. So we got highlights of the Brock Lesnar Oba Femi stuff from the show last week when Oba was about to talk about which championship he was going to challenge for at SummerSlam. Oh, psych, there will be no title match for him at SummerSlam. He will challenge Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. So fuck the King of the Ring. We come back live after a break. Paul Heyman is already in the ring. He's by himself. He says, I'm out here to talk about, and I got to say it the way he says it, Oba Femi. I love how Heyman talks to us like we're all 4 years old. He's been doing this for years. We're all toddlers, so he has to over-enunciate every single word and stretch for time as he cuts these promos. Paul Heyman is the best guy you could possibly send out there to do promos in WWE because he could talk all night, but he doesn't even have to have a lot to say. He just says it really, really slow, and pauses a lot. So he's out here to talk about Oba Femi. Oba came into WWE like he owns the joint, which he doesn't. He saunters down the aisle like he's King Schlong. That's what he called him. King Schlong. Until he got punted in the little Femis by Brock Lesnar. But the bad news for Oba is that's nothing compared to the pain he's going to suffer inside Hell in a Cell. Yes, Aaron says Paul Heyman's promos are at 0.5 speed. It's a good point. They are. They are at half speed. Liv is in a relationship, so she's breaking up with Dom on TV. Guaranteed. What does that have to do with anything? You know how many people are in relationships on TV and real life at the same time? That doesn't mean anything. Maxine Dupree, I think she might be married. If not, I know she's definitely in a relationship. And there she is on TV. She's, playing tonsil hockey with Austin Theory. Doesn't mean anything. They'll keep Liv Dom together for another year if they want to. So Oba Femi, he says, has inspired Brock Lesnar. Oba Femi has compelled the beast to emerge from Brock Lesnar. Oba Femi has motivated Brock Lesnar. He has made, Oba has, the biggest mistake of his life by accepting this challenge. You're not coming out of Hell in a Cell, he said. No way, no how. Brock Lesnar will destroy Oba Femi inside Hell in a Cell. And then he flipped his mic like he was about to leave. So again, he said nothing. He said nothing in this promo. He's about to leave, and the lights go out. Oba comes out, and he struts down to the ring. And he said he felt bad for Paul. He wanted to at least give him a face that he could talk to when he's out here. Heyman said, Oba learned last week, talk shit, get hit, but he'll talk facts. You know why I'm valuable? Because I prevent people from making bad mistakes. Not at WrestleMania. He said, at WrestleMania, you proved to the world that Brock Lesnar is beatable. And then in Italy, Brock Lesnar proved that Oba Femi is also beatable. So now comes the trilogy match, and they have to find out which one of them goes on to be that unbeatable superstar, even though they've both already been beaten. So let's examine who's stepping into the cell, he says. Oba is stepping into the cell with Brock Lesnar, who was a UFC heavyweight champion. There's no one who fights in a cage like Brock Lesnar. He ended The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Undertaker, the man who invented Hell in a Cell. And Brock didn't just beat him once inside the cell, he beat The Undertaker twice inside Hell in a Cell. Oba didn't accept a challenge for a cage or for a cell. That cell is the Brocktagon. And inside that Brocktagon, Lesnar is the bringer of pain. The beast Oba cannot beat, the mountain that Oba cannot climb. Only one man will leave SummerSlam with that reputation intact, that he is truly the unbeatable superstar in WWE, and that man is Brock Lesnar. And the beatable one is going to be Oba Femi. And again, Heyman chucked the microphone. Oba said Brock Lesnar showed up last week. After weeks of Oba calling him out and calling him names, Brock finally shows up. He says, that tells me that every word that I said got to him. Every single thing I said about him got under his skin, and now he can pretend like he doesn't watch the show. The fact that he showed up tells me he definitely watches the show. Oba, I got news for you. He don't watch the show. He definitely doesn't watch the show. But then Heyman here is doing his usual damage control, and he's writing all of these checks that Brock probably can't even cash. Heyman is less than an advocate. He's just a mouth. And that's the thing about a mouth. Mouths need to be fed. But how can you feed one if you have no head? I don't know if he was trying to rhyme here. I have some Dr. Seuss shit going on here. He's out here talking about Randy Couture and The Undertaker when neither of those men are Oba Femi. Heyman is scared. Every man knows when his time has come, whether it's the beginning or the end. And he goes, trust me, Paul, this is the end. This is the final chapter. This is where the book closes. And what bigger stage to do it than SummerSlam in Minneapolis, in front of his friends, in front of his family, in front of Brock's wife. He'll beat him in front of his children. And he's learned a very valuable lesson. You have to walk through hell to get to heaven. So tell your client, I'll see him in hell. This is a good promo. The Heyman stuff, by Heyman standards, was very paint by numbers. Oba's a very good promo. It's one thing that he has showed on the main roster this year. You know, he doesn't come across as being timid. He doesn't, seem to get nervous or lose his train of thought or trip over his words or anything like that. He's very focused. He brings a level of intensity to his promos that not everybody does. And again, he's a very intimidating guy to look at. If you're in the ring with him, right? I mean, you might shit a brick. If a guy like that was getting really, really pissed off at you, right? He plays the part well. He carries himself well. So I thought this was good. Now, Brock is going to be back on the show next week, so we'll see, if there's any sort of physical interaction, or do we just get another very basic, Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar promo? If you've seen one, you've pretty much seen most of them. I thought when Lesnar was on the show last week, not that he had a ton to say, but I actually thought his delivery and everything was one of the better Brock Lesnar promos that I've ever seen, which is wild considering how long he's been around for. We'll see what he does on the show next week. At least they'll be back in the same building. In the back, Sami Zayn was taping up his fists. He was getting ready for the main event tonight. Jackie Redmond broke the news to him that it's now been confirmed Cody Rhodes will not be medically cleared for the main event. And Sami was shocked. His mouth was agape. He asked her, is he really out? He goes, that's terrible. I was looking forward to testing myself against QB1. But he goes, this night honestly felt cursed from the start. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure why I had to defend my title on Raw to begin with. So it's best to wait until Friday and we'll regroup. Adam Pearce walks in. He tells him, we promised the fans in Chicago a championship match, and that's what we're going to give them. So it is official. And so at that point, you could hear the CM Punk chants ring out inside the arena. It was very clear where this was headed. And the fans in the building, they were here for it. They were waiting for it. We had Chad Gable and Dragon Lee against Ethan Page and Rusev. We got Rusev Day chants. Who chants that anymore? Why are we getting Rusev Day chants in 2026? So there was a crazy spot here ahead of the commercial break where Gable gave Dragon Lee an overhead belly to belly out of the ring, and he wiped out Rusev and Paige on the landing outside. The heels got the heat on Gable for a while until he made the hot tag to Dragon Lee. Lee caught Paige with a tornado DDT at one point. He missed the ropes as he was trying to push off the ropes. He missed them. And somehow he was able to build up enough momentum to spin around and hit the DDT anyway. Lee hung Paige upside down and then came off the top with a double stomp. Things broke down at this point. Gable caught Paige with an angle slam. Rusev hit him with a Machka kick. Dragon Lee caught Rusev with a snap German. He came off the top rope. Rusev caught him on the way down and planted him with a Uranagi. Rusev hit a Machka kick and then locked in the Accolade. And Dragon Lee very quickly tapped out. I can't believe that Rusev won a match. See, I should give that. I'm not going to do it, but I should give this the air horn for that alone. Rusev actually won a match on TV. It's pretty transparent why that is. They want you to believe that he is going to be the monster that's just going to tear through this gauntlet next week. So it's like, oh, we better give him a win on TV. We better give this guy some credibility. We haven't been doing much of that lately. So at least here they made him look like a monster. He won the match. When the match was over, he refused to release the hold. Gable came in. He tried to help break it up. Ethan Page jumped Gable. Rusev then locked Gable in the Accolade. But Joe Hendry ran out to make the save. Now they played his music. He came out from the back. He raced down to the ring. This is not a proper entrance, but it's the closest thing to an actual entrance that Joe Hendry has been given since he debuted on this show a few months ago. It's the first time that I can remember his music actually being hit and him coming out. It's July. I don't know why it took this long, but he ran down to the ring. He got inside and he very quickly got overwhelmed. I mean, he got a few moves off. He did the fall away slam. They did the camera zoom in on him. He was setting up for, I think, the standing ovation. I don't know. Almost looked like he was going to give him a rock bottom or something. But anyway, he got overwhelmed and he ended up being trapped in the Accolade as well. This was a good match. Like, this was a good tag team match. They kept Rusev strong because he's in this gauntlet next week and he clearly is going to be the destroyer, right? He's not going to win. But if, let's say, Gable, who I think Gable should open the gauntlet. I mean, Gable should be one or two. What do they have, 7 guys in this gauntlet? If Gable is anything but 1 or 2, I think it's a mistake. You, I think, would want him to work from underneath and have to overcome, maybe not number 1 necessarily, he doesn't have to be number 1, but he should have to overcome a shit ton of adversity in this gauntlet. And he'll have to run through Rusev at some point. So they just wanted to build him up strong. But again, there's only one option for this gauntlet. It's got to be Gable. It's got to be Gable. That could be his new catchphrase. It's got to be Gable. You get one shot at this. Minneapolis, SummerSlam, the title that he could never win, right? Sheamus will never get his moment. Chad Gable should get his for the IC title. And plus, Chad Gable and Penta as a singles match at SummerSlam is fucking awesome. That was Penta's first match on TV when he debuted, was against Gable. Talk about a full circle moment. What a great match that would be. We got highlights of LA Knight beating Jimmy Uso on Raw last week with an unexpected assist from Solo Sikoa. And then they showed the super kick from earlier tonight when Jimmy super kicked Knight in the face. Backstage live, Jackie Redmond is actually outside the building. She's racing to catch up with Jimmy as he was leaving. And she asked him, what kind of message were you trying to send? And Jimmy said, it's time for Big Jim to step up for the bloodline. He's going to go to SmackDown to get his hands on Solo Sikoa. LA Knight could be seen coming out of the building. He's in the background. He's coming towards Jimmy. Before he could get to him, though, he gets cut off by Jacob Fatu, who comes from out of nowhere. And he lays Knight out on the ground. Jimmy and Jacob, they left together, clearly operating on the same page. So it looks like LA Knight is going to need some help if he wants to fight back here against the bloodline. And enter Solo Sikoa and enter Royce Keys. That's what we're going to get at SummerSlam. We're going to get a 6-man tag team match because LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, they're all by themselves, even though they don't want to have anything to do with each other. Right? Speaking of strange bedfellows. That's going to be a tag team at SummerSlam. They're going to wrestle Jacob Fatu and the Usos. It's not official yet. By the way, I may as well mention this here. No Jey Uso on this show. He is dealing with a personal matter that broke today on TMZ. So you can look that up if you care to do so, but no yeet for Jey Uso. We had a video promo from Bayley where she talked about how Lyra Valkyria waited in line for hours to meet her when she was younger. And they even had the photo. Lyra became her best friend and was there for her during one of the toughest years of her career, helped her become the best version of herself every single week. She never questioned Lyra's trust and wanted to help her. They couldn't have an honest conversation. She took the easy way out. Bayley is going to give Lyra one chance to show that she's not like everybody else and meet her in the ring next week. And so for Raw next week in Dallas, they have announced, this always pops me when they do this, Roman Reigns returns. How many returns are we up to over the past year for Roman Reigns? Like, he misses 1 week, maybe 2. And then he's back, and it's like the return of Roman Reigns. The return of Roman Reigns. I mean, he hasn't been gone for that long. The return of Roman Reigns. So he'll return again next week. Brock Lesnar will also be back. That'll be in Houston. We have the Gauntlet, as I mentioned, and then we have Roxanne Perez is going to wrestle Io Sky, and I guess Bayley is going to wait for Lyra Valkyria to come out to confront her, and we'll get our first real opportunity to see Lyra like in a live in-ring promo setting as a heel. I'm very curious if she's got the chops to be a heel. I don't know the WWE is going to really give her the opportunity to really run with it. They're not giving her a whole lot of TV time to begin with. I don't see Lyra as a heel. I would like to see if she can make this work. I'm curious what kind of heel she's going to portray. In the back, Nick Aldis walked up to Adam Pearce. He's still hanging around. Said that I placed a phone call to a certain someone while you're off talking to nobody, and I found a replacement for Cody Rhodes in the main event tonight. That superstar is in the building right now. All Adam needs to do is say, "You're welcome." And that led into our main event. And the champion entered first. His one and only entrance for a match as the WWE champion. I hope he soaked it up. I hope he enjoyed it. As he made his way down to the ring, it was Sami Zayn. He gets in the ring. The music stops. Who's it gonna be? Chants ring out in the arena of CM Punk. They cut to the back. And of course, it's CM Punk. He was standing outside the arena, like right where the SUVs and everything come down the ramp and pull into the building. I think the door was down, and they kind of raised the garage door. And he's standing there in his wrestling gear. No music. And he starts to walk through the back. Finally, they hit his music. Everybody in the building is losing their minds. He comes out, just an electric entrance, place going nuts. His first appearance since the Raw after WrestleMania, and they're in Chicago. So he gets in the ring, and things got a little salty. Sammy got up in his face. He kind of face washed him. Referee had to get in between them. He took the championship. He held it up for all to see, rang the bell, and the crowd was just, again, they were molten hot here for the beginning of this match. And this is where I noticed, oh shit, they got the pyro set up on stage. They're not setting the pyro up for Sami Zayn to retain the WWE title. So right there, I mean, if I didn't already know, right there I knew this is not going to end well for Sami Zayn. It is preordained. So for those curious, for those who may not have seen the show yet, You remember there were a lot of stories about CM Punk and his physical condition and gym photos going around from people who were just being creepers and taking pictures of him at the gym without him knowing. Talking about, oh my God, Punk is swole, man. Look at Punk. He's all jacked up. He's on steroids. This guy, we know what he's been doing in his time off. And it was just so ridiculous. And I said, wait until Punk comes back and he doesn't look really any different than he did the last time we saw him. I can't tell you he looks, he doesn't look like fucking Bruce Banner, okay? He doesn't look radically different. He's in good shape. He clearly has not just been sitting at home on the couch eating ice cream for the past 2 months. He's been putting the work in. He's in good shape. Nothing outrageous. Nothing like all these dingbats online. Oh, he's, he's shooting up. He's a wrestler who's in good shape. News at 11. There was a commercial break here in the middle of this main event. And after the break, Punk was looking for the GTS. Sami slipped out. Standing switch by Punk into a big clothesline. And he reached deep for that one. Only got a 2 count. Loud CM Punk chants as he made the slow climb up to the top. Sami, though, cut him off. And Sami took him down with a massive superplex. This then took us into a second commercial break in the middle of this main event. And I'm like, dude, they have got to do... I have no problem with there being ads. It's kind of the necessary evil. I get it. You got to do a better job of spreading this shit out. Like, you can't be doing this during your main events. You got a 2.5 hour show here. This is your main event. I'm sure that, and maybe it would make things a little miserable in other parts of the show if you had to move things around, if they even have control over it. I don't know. But in the middle of the main event, dude, like, come on, man. Come on. I will say this. It is one thing I will always give Russo credit for because he's talked about this before, and it's true. If you think back to those main events in the Attitude Era, and we had some big television matches in the Attitude Era on TV, and it's not like those shows didn't have commercials. Very rarely, if ever, did they have commercials during the main event. And I think he even said, like, to the extent that he had any say in the matter, because he wasn't a TV guy, he would make sure there were no main event breaks. Like, you had big, like, Stone Cold Undertaker main event. They weren't going to fucking commercial in the middle of the match. You know what I mean? Like, there were just some matches that you should not constantly be interrupting. And I just wish they would do a better job of spreading it out. Now, look, I'm using the Express VPN, so I can see what goes down during the commercial breaks, but it's still ridiculous for the people who don't. Sami came off the ropes. This was during the break. Came off the ropes, and Punk drop kicked him out of midair on the way down. Then Punk came off the top with a high cross body for a near fall, and then the two of them had a collision, ribs first, coming off the ropes at the same time, just as the break ended. So when they came back live, both men were down. I just realized I used the word collision when I was talking about CM Punk here, and now Sami Zayn is banned from Collision. Is that joke still a thing? Does that joke still work in 2026? So now they're slugging it out from their knees. Now they're on their feet. He's going for a GTS, but nope. Slammy. Oh, I like that. Slammy Zayn, he elbows his way out. He went for a blue thunder bomb. That got stuffed. Punk hit the step-up knee in the corner. He was going for the running bulldog, but Sami turned it into a blue thunder bomb for a near fall. And it didn't look pretty. He had to really muscle him up for that one, but he did land it. So then there was another step-up knee by Punk, and he hit the running bulldog. Now Punk races to the top in his Hitman colors, as Michael Cole said. And he hit the very un-Hitman-like diving elbow. Brett, to be fair, there were times where Brett would hit a diving elbow from the middle rope. I mean, so to be fair, he did the diving elbow from the middle rope in pretty much every match. And then he would do it in a different way where you knew he was going to miss it. I never saw Bret Hart hit an elbow off the top rope. That's something that was not in his arsenal. That was very un-Hitman-like. But he came off with the diving top rope elbow. Now the Anaconda Vice is locked in. And I'm watching this. I'm going, reach, Sammy, reach. And he's in the middle of the ring, so there's nothing to really reach for. He's flailing around, and I'm like, don't tell me they're going to have him fucking tap to the Anaconda Vice. But he uses his legs. He wraps him around Punk's head to break free. Punk did go for a sharpshooter. Sammy, though, very quickly, he fought out of that. So here comes the GTS, but no, again, Sammy slips out. He got the same roll-up now on Punk that he used to pin Cody to win the championship in Riyadh. But this time he only got a close 2 count out of it. So that was a very good near fall. So again, GTS, no, Sammy gets Punk up on his shoulders and he hits the GTS flush. Sammy covers, Punk kicks out. Punk ended up down in the corner. Fans are booing because they know what's coming up next. Sammy is setting up for the haluva kick. Punk catches him though as he charges in and he hits a Sammy move. He hits an exploder into the corner. Now we have CM Punk in the opposite corner, and he is setting up for something. He's setting up for a haluva kick of his own. Sammy, though, catches Punk with another GTS. He nails it into a Blue Thunder Bomb. And he's got him pinned, and Punk kicks out. Punk kicked out of a GTS Blue Thunder Bomb combo. And I'm like, what am I watching? I feel like I'm watching AEW. Sammy starts ripping off the wrist tape. Now he smacks Punk. Smacks him a second time. He smacks him across the face for a third time. He's telling him, I'm the champ now. Do you understand that? I'm the champ now. He's punching Punk. Punk now has a bloody mouth. Now Punk is pissed. And he starts to fire back. Another step up knee. Then Punk runs into the opposite corner. Sammy, though, followed him in, but Punk moved out of the way when Sammy went for the haluva kick. Punk comes in, though. He nails a haluva kick of his own. And then comes the go to sleep. All it took was one. Although, to be fair, he hit Sammy with his own finisher first. Then he hit his own. And then he covered him. And he gets the 1, 2, 3. And CM Punk, for the 8th time in his career, is world champion. I say 8th time in his career, not counting AEW, is an 8-time champion because now this is his 3rd, I believe, right? 3rd WWE Championship. And I want to say the original version, the OG version of the World Heavyweight title, did he hold that 3 times? And then I think the most recent version twice, right? So that adds up to 8. I believe that's what they're counting. Michael Cole on commentary referred to Sami Zayn's run as the shortest world championship reign in 5 years. He almost certainly had to mean WWE title because we have had world heavyweight championship reigns in the last 5 years that are a lot shorter than this. Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, hello. CM Punk. A year ago, not even a year ago, at SummerSlam, we beat Gunther. He got cashed in on. Fucking 5 minutes later, he lost the championship. So in terms of the WWE title, that may well be the case. Punk hops the barricade. Very reminiscent of what we saw 15 years ago. In that very building, Money in the Bank 2011, after he beat John Cena, right? He retreated over the barricade, into the crowd, up into the stands, swarmed by all of the Chicago fans, and celebrating with his people as they go off the air. This was an incredible main event. The atmosphere, I mean, even just as a match, forget the atmosphere for a second. It was a fucking really good match. But then you got to factor in just the energy in the building. Of course, everybody, they were dying to see Punk win this belt, and they were hanging on to every near fall, and it was so good. It was so good. That's why it's hard for me to be too angry about anything or upset about it. I mean, I am upset that, Sammy only had 9 days. I mean, I think that's bullshit. But what a great fucking match to go out on. You know what I mean? Like, if this was going to be his one and only title defense, he went out in like the best possible way in terms of in-ring because probably wasn't going to have a better match than this. So I love the match. It was the best match on Raw in a very long time. But again, 9 days after 10 years of chasing the dragon, and finally capturing the dragon. And then he dropped it. And just like that, it's gone. And it ain't coming back. Because I got news for you. I don't see Sami Zayn winning this championship back. I don't. I think they put the belt on him, not just to give him a moment, but in the process of giving him a moment, it served a purpose. And the purpose was to transition that belt onto somebody else for a much bigger program and a much bigger match that they have in mind. And the real money in their eyes, and I'm not even saying they're wrong about this, the real money here is in Punk and Cody, because they're two of the biggest stars outside of Roman Reigns in the entire company. And whatever order you want to put them in, it's Roman, it's Cody, it's Punk. Those are the three. Those are the three guys. And you would hope in the next 3 years, or less, frankly, Oba Femi, Braun Breaker, at least those two. Jacob Fatu, maybe. Trick Williams, maybe. His in-ring has to catch up, but you would hope that we have some new faces in the mix. And we're not still talking in 3 years about Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, hogging up the same fucking spots. The money match right now to do is one that has not been done yet. It's Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. And they've teased this match off and on now for a few years. They've had some backstage interactions. They had an in-ring promo after WrestleMania this year. It's very interesting to think about, is it just going to be straight babyface against babyface? Is one guy going to lean more into the heel role? Even if it's just for the one match, who's going to play heel? Is there going to be a heel turn? If so, who's it going to be? We've seen Punk play heel. We know Punk can be a heel. We haven't seen Cody in that spot since he became the guy, right? We've had past versions of Cody, Stardust, and the grooming tips. Like, that's like a whole other person. That person doesn't even exist anymore. This version, the American Nightmare version of Cody Rhodes, has yet to go heel and play bad guy in WWE. And it would be very interesting to see him in that role. It would freshen him up in a way that I think he could definitely use. But they've just got to have somebody there to take that spot. I don't know that Punk is that guy. Not that he's not a big name, but ideally you would replace Cody with somebody who can really take that spot. He's the top babyface on the brand for the future. Punk is not the future. Do they have another babyface who can kind of step into that role? On SmackDown right now, the answer is no, they don't. So turn Cody heel at your own risk. It's not like I wouldn't love to see it, but what's the plan for SmackDown if you do that? It can't just be CM Punk. Who else are you going to rely on or try to elevate or have in that spot, lean on as the top babyface on Fridays and be that guy? That's something they have to figure out, is who they want that person to be. If they can figure that out, fuck, I would love to see Cody Rhodes go heel. I would love to see what that looks like. And maybe the fans will just sort of naturally gravitate towards Punk. If they do Punk and Cody, they may boo Cody anyway because they like Punk just that much. The dynamic will be very interesting, but you can't deny that that is the biggest possible match they could do right now on SmackDown. Unfortunately, that leaves Sami Zayn out in the cold because if they don't include him in this, if he's not involved in that match to turn it into a three-way situation, I don't see another obvious path for him to even be on the SummerSlam card this year. And to go from winning the WWE Championship at the end of June to literally not even a full 2 months later be completely left off the card would be, to call it a slap in the face would not even be adequate. I don't even think that those words are adequate enough to describe what a show of disrespect that would be for someone who has really elevated SmackDown in recent months, which is a shit show, but elevated it in a way where if he wasn't there, I don't know what the fuck I would be looking at on that show as like the best thing on SmackDown to look forward to every week. Johnny Gargano planking? I mean, you tell me. Now I guess you could argue it's this occasional Rey Fenix AAA Cruiserweight title defense. It's defending a championship that doesn't even belong on the main roster. It belongs to a different promotion. You know, you try to pick and choose the things that you like and you look forward to the most. Carmelo Hayes, let's get him going again. You know, Dragunov, hopefully they'll get him back soon, wherever he's been. I mean, my God. So, of course, it's great now to have CM Punk on SmackDown. Thank God. You know, they could use that shot in the arm. Sammy just doesn't fit into that. Seemingly doesn't fit into that. We know what the direction is going to be. But I do think it's a missed opportunity. You could have had title matches with Sammy where it's like, man, every night that he's defending that belt could be his last. But somehow he finds a way to hang on. They didn't have any interest in doing that. They never did. We know that now. So it sucks. I do feel bad for him that he never had a chance to really run with it. I think that I think he would have done fine. I understand people who were not a fan of putting the belt on him. They don't like him. They don't think he looks the part. They think it's unrealistic, or you know, whatever their thoughts and opinions are on it. But again, you can find examples of people over the years that have held the championship in this company that would fit the same mold. You know, and some of those cases they did just fine. I have no doubt that Sami Zayn could have carried the belt for a couple of months. He got 9 days. Now we'll see what the SummerSlam match is going to be. For his sake, I just hope they don't blow it off at Saturday night's main event. You know, because if they do, then he ain't going to SummerSlam. Not in anything meaningful anyway. But it was a great main event. I will say that. That was Monday Night Raw. Kind of a big deal. With Punk being back and now having the championship, that certainly takes things in a different direction than they were a week ago when we were talking about this show. Well, we blew past all of the early goals, and you guys were on fire, and I've lost track. I want to say we have 5 rounds, I believe. Be the Sammy planking with Gargano at SummerSlam. You actually think Johnny Gargano would get a SummerSlam match? What drugs are you on? I want what he's having. Maybe they could have a planking match. I may have to add that stipulation to be the booker. A planking match. At the end of the day, it becomes a lot easier to understand when you look at it from the perspective of they go where the stars are. WWE and TKO, they go where they feel the money is going to be. And for their second biggest show of the year, the money is going to be in CM Punk and not Sami Zayn. The money is going to be in CM Punk against Cody Rhodes. Although you could have kept the belt on Sami and had him defending against Punk and or Cody, they felt differently, that they wanted that belt. It was more important to them to have the championship on Punk, even though him just walking in and getting a title shot is kind of ridiculous, but in their view, he's CM Punk. So you can excuse it. And that's just the reality of it. All right, so I think we're doing 4. I think it's 4 rounds of Be the Booker. But you guys will keep me posted on that. Hey, Joseph Stewart, thank you, brother, for being with us tonight. A happy Monday to you as well. I did read through these messages that you sent in earlier because you were the first. So I am aware of everything that you have written here. I did actually not know about any of this. I get my Batman updates from you on what's going on with this new movie. And some of these past trivia facts. I do want to mention this one, though. The $9.99. I've mentioned to you before, I have not seen the animated series, but I definitely want to watch it before the Clayface movie comes out in October, because apparently on the animated show, I think in like the first 2 or 3 episodes, right? They have a double episode covering the Clayface character. And apparently the new movie is based or inspired by those episodes of Batman the Animated Series. So I would like to check out the series at some point. It's got a pretty high score too on IMDb. Yeah, Batman the Animated Series. Happy 80th birthday to Sylvester. Are you serious? Is Sylvester Stallone 80 years old today? Oh my God. 80 years old. Looking the way he does. And 81st for Burt. I didn't even know Burt Ward was still alive. Today's the anniversary of Goldberg beating Hogan at the Georgia Dome. I did mention that from the very top of the review tonight. Buy or sell, Sting against Hogan at Starrcade 97 or Goldberg against Hogan on Nitro. I mean, how is this even a question, Joseph? Come on now. How is this even a question? Are you kidding me? Goldberg and Hogan in 98 is one of the best matches in the history of the company. Not because of anything that they did in the ring per se, but just it is truly one of the biggest, if not the biggest match that they have ever done. Sting and Hogan meant more to the buy rate, but the match was fucking terrible. Obviously, I'm selling on that. Do you remember when Raven had his therapy sessions with his family on Nitro? Sandman appeared during the therapy sessions as Raven's best friend. I actually don't remember. I don't remember that. I don't remember Sandman being there for that. Man, Bane is Bane's pretty high up there on my list of Batman villains. Where I rank him is probably something like maybe like 4, maybe. Anyway, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July, Solomonster, and have a blessed and safe day today. You as well, Joseph. I hope you had a happy 4th. Philip Bowman was Swerve's blade job at Forbidden Door worse than Eddie Guerrero's Judgment Day blade job? I would say yes, it was. It was quite disgusting how much blood he and Ospreay lost, but Swerve's was much worse. Deathside, how does Sonic get a hold of the ladies? He gives them rings. Gives them rings. The Real CS 02 with a $9.99. With guys like New Day and Sheamus leaving due to refusing to accept a pay cut, I wonder how long until names like Natty, Miz, Truth, etc. are either cut or asked to take a pay cut. I would be willing to bet that some of them have already been asked to take a pay cut, and if they're still around, they probably said yes. I'm sure there are talents that have said yes. We hear about the ones that say no. That doesn't mean that there aren't that have said yes, and they're probably still making very good money. They're just making a lot less than they used to make. But, you know, some of these people that have been working there for so many years, they're probably making a lot of money to the point where even taking a 40 or 50% pay cut is more than they would make pretty much anywhere else. We don't hear about the ones that said yes. We only hear about the ones that say no. GMB with a $4.99. Think the Profits dropped the titles is because Bianca and Doc's wife are due soon. I feel bad for Braun, though. He's above this awful faction. He is. I just feel like it's just diminishing him. Every week that goes by, it's just diminishing him. It's beneath him. Thank you, brother. Rizzo says, yes, Sami lost the belt. He's very excited that Sami Zayn is no longer the champion. Deathside says, Stan Stasiak, who is also Canadian, held the WWE Championship for 9 days. Interesting. So Sami Zayn is not the first Canadian to hold the belt for 9 days. Johnny Burney says, for me, the action is in the juice. He has this in quotations. Is that a quote from someone? He says, yeah, we can tell Big Papa Punk. Big Papa Punk. Crazy says, I laughed my ass off when Michael Cole said we are all shocked at Punk's return. Well, I mean, Michael Cole is an idiot, so he has said, you kind of expect that he's going to say a lot of stupid shit on TV. None of this should be surprising. Andre Jefferson. Actually, Johnny Burney says, watch Sami end up on a crate like Johnny for months. Oh my God. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. What if Sami's new gimmick is that he is so depressed over losing the belt, he's planking next to Gargano every week? Andre Jefferson says Triple H's booking is so atrocious. We were so focused on Sami, who knew the Street Profits were about to suffer the same fate. Well, I told you earlier why I think they may have dropped the belts. I think they may be going away soon. And if they do, congrats to them. If you have to go away, it's not a bad reason to go away. Unlike Kairi Sane. That was a very bad reason that she went away. They never even finished their own story. Death Scythe. Dropping some bombs here. We got a magenta bomb. Look at this guy. On Friday, you mentioned that Punk and Austin at WrestleMania 43 would be best in the world versus the best of all time. All they need now is the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be to be the moderator for the contract signing. I think if he was asked, he would do it. I think Punk and Austin are probably two of his favorite people in wrestling. But again, I see no need to do the match. I see no need to do the match at all. I was just asked a hypothetical. I said, if you were going to do it, this is how it should be billed and promoted. I think that ship sailed a long time ago. Everyone's talking about wanting something new, something fresh. I know, let's do Stone Cold and CM Punk at WrestleMania. Sure. 15 years ago. We got the working man. I love you, Solomonster. He says in the Jacob Fatu voice. Thank you, my friend. The working man is always hard at work. Bucky freaking Dent with a $5 super chat. When you hear the phrase the big red machine, do you think of Kane or the Cincinnati Reds? I think of that gum. Oh my God, what was that gum? In the red and white. It was a brand of gum. I actually think Big Red. Duh. I think of Big Red gum. And then I think of Kane. Deathside says Drew McIntyre won the WWE title in an empty warehouse at WrestleMania 36. He failed to win it back at WrestleMania 37. He won the World Heavyweight Championship and then had his moment immediately ruined at WrestleMania 40. It feels like they're giving Drew Naito's 10-year Wrestle Kingdom story arc with WrestleMania. Well, let us hope that by the time we get to the payoff for his arc, he can move a little bit better than Naito does. Because Naito is washed. You know what? I just realized if McIntyre is going to be back soon and Sami has nothing to do, he could just lose to Drew McIntyre again. He can go like 0 for 12. Deathside says, hopefully a babyface Drew will win the WWE Championship in the WrestleMania 46 Night 2 main event, and his opponent should be Cody, because I believe Drew is supposed to be the one to dethrone Roman and become the FOTC if Cody did not. The FOTC? What does that mean? The Sheltered Kid, remember the John Cena Classic? Neither do I. Yeah, whatever happened to that? I mean, we were told it was going to happen at the end of the year, so I guess they're working on it. Why did it need to be announced so early in the year if they had absolutely nothing planned out for it? It's like, quick, we got to make the announcement. So then they go and they have Cena make the announcement, and they talk about fan voting and stuff. And then a few weeks ago, I see Cena's in interviews talking about how we really have to figure out this fan voting concept because I really don't want people to like hijack it and like troll the shit out of it. And I'm like, well, why didn't you think this out before you went and publicly announced that you were going to have fan voting? Alexander says Punk should wear an Oofalafa on SmackDown. No, that's LA Knight's gimmick. Spooky Electric 3121. It wasn't until I saw an interview with Rami Sebi that I realized what a great character Sami Zayn is. The person and the wrestler are very different. He has created a fabulous character. Serious props. He tries to pay attention to a lot of the like nuances. Like, you ever listen to him talk about wrestling? He's very cerebral. He clearly puts a lot of thought into what he does and how he presents himself. Even when he was doing the bloodline stuff, you know, the honorary use and all that. The Sheltered Kid, what is something that WWE does all the time that makes no sense logically? For example, I hate when the GMs don't plan for the fucking main events. Oh, I hate when they are... oh, hold on a second.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
Always carry your Mentos. Always. See, this is why Sami Zayn lost the WWE Championship. If he had one of these in the middle of the match tonight with Punk, he could have been like, ah. And then he could have just busted out his Mentos and he would have kept the title. He would have figured out some ingenious way to like roll him up or something and keep the belt. You need your Mentos. Hey, Yukio Rules with the $30 Mentos, the Fresh Maker Super Chat. Still one of my favorite all-time commercials. I said I gotta make a Super Chat. Thank you, brother. But to go back to the Sheltered Kid in his question here, I did a whole video. It was a segment actually on the Sound Off, but I pulled the video for the YouTube channel, so you should go check it out if you missed it. This was months ago on common wrestling tropes that just bug the shit out of me or just make me laugh. So go check out that video. But like, for example, there are so many times on these shows where the GM will make multiple matches throughout the night for the show. Like, it's one thing if, let's say, you make one match. There are legitimately weeks where, like, Nick Aldis, usually it's Aldis, but it could be Adam Pearce. They will legitimately make 3 or 4 new matches in the middle of the show. And it's like, did they not have anything planned? Who got bumped? Do they just sit around all week doing nothing, hoping that during the course of the show every week, matches will just naturally sort of materialize? Like, what a terrible general manager. It makes no sense to me. You have all week to plan a card. G. Barry Free, I don't know if I'm overreacting, but that Seth promo was excruciating. Never been more happy to hear LA Knight's music. I wouldn't say excruciating. It was boring. It was a boring promo. You know, he didn't have anything of any real interest to say. It doesn't help that his opponent wasn't on the show. What's he supposed to do? Thankfully, we had LA Knight come out to interrupt. San Juan Wolf with the 1999. In kayfabe, Adam Pearce is the worst general manager in WWE history. Dude can hardly run his own show. Hardly has his world champions defend their titles, yet decides it's only fair that Sami Zayn defends his. He should be fired. So then you're going to have no general manager for any show. He's running both shows. You're going to fire him. Who are you going to replace him with? You got to have a backup plan. Holy shit, wrestling. I have CM Punk in Chicago fatigue. Yeah, well, I have more Cody fatigue than I do CM Punk in Chicago fatigue. Death Scythe. At least Brock and Roman have the excuse of being part-timers. What is Liv Morgan's excuse? Terrible booking. In kayfabe, I don't know what her excuse is. She's not injured. She's just a terrible champion. Aaron says, Liv should have feuded with Bayley and Lyra, and she could have been the catalyst to cause Lyra to turn against Bayley. Well, you've just done a better job than WWE did in trying to think of something for Liv Morgan to do. Congratulations. You've just put more thought and effort into it than Triple H and his merry band of misfits did. Prince Vegeta 95. I gotta say, Braun Breaker is absolutely neutered. Dude went from being the Royal Rumble favorite and a possible WrestleMania main event position this year to being stuck in a tag team and barely getting mic time. That's why I said, man, like this whole vision thing, for the sake of Braun Breaker, it needs to end. It's not benefiting him in any meaningful way at all. At all. He was neutered. People may disagree with me. I would have put the World Championship on him in November. I would have taken a flyer and said, okay, look, he's still a younger, newer guy, but so what? This is what we need. Fuck it. You can argue, oh, well, he's not ready yet, or you got to wait to give him his big moment at WrestleMania. No, fuck that. Fuck that. You could have put the belt on him on Saturday night's main event, November 1st, 2025. Right after he booted Seth Rollins out of the Vision. You could have strapped the rocket to him. You could have ran with it. You could have ran with it. What's the harm? What's the harm? They didn't do that. He's been neutered ever since. Paul Carpenter says, if you build it, it will come. Congrats on the story. Yes, I finished my story. Phil with the $9.99. Hey, Solo, would you be open to Sami Zayn being added to the SummerSlam main event with Cody and Punk? I would save Cody versus Punk for a later date. Also, I think Maxine Dupree still sucks. Thank you, Phil. Yes, I would. As much as I really do want to see Cody and Punk one-on-one, I really hope they add Sami to that match. If Cody deserves a rematch, there's no good reason why Sami doesn't. Because Cody lost fair and square at Night of Champions, and Sami lost fair and square tonight. Why does Cody need a rematch and not Sami? My guess is we're going to get Cody against Sami at Madison Square Garden. Cody's going to win, and then he's going to get Punk at SummerSlam. They need some big matches for that Saturday. I mean, that Saturday night's main event show is dying on the vine. Like, fucking Danhausen against JD McDonough and Paige and Brie Bella against Fatal Influence. That's all they have announced so far. That's it. So they have to be saving some kind of big match for the main event at least. Fucking Madison Square Garden. What, are you kidding me? Show's less than 2 weeks away. That's the card you put together? Oh, we got Hassan Cargbo with a magenta bomb. Sami deserves better. He summed it up very succinctly. I'm sorry, brother. I know he didn't enjoy the outcome of that main event tonight. I could tell. Phil says, hey, Solo, did you ever get your AC fixed? I figured out what the issue was. Once the heat wave ended, it started functioning again. I don't think these window and wall AC units are really equipped to deal with 100-degree heat waves and running constantly for 24 to 48 hours. I feel like they overheat and they probably shut the compressor off just to kind of protect itself. It's like a self-preservation thing. So thankfully, I didn't have to bring it in anywhere. I just had to sweat it out a little bit. Thankfully, the heat wave has broken. Justin G, why not do the bonus while we're at? He contributed to the bonus. Which one, though? We had like 4 bonuses. We have 4 rounds, I believe, of Be the Booker coming. Still to come. Don't go nowhere. Phil says, we ain't playing around tonight, Solo. We want double Be the Booker. Oh, my God. You wanted double? How old is this message? How many more do we have? It says, come on, let's get triple Be the Booker. I got a long day of work tomorrow. I need this review to be long. The Sheltered Kid, you have no idea how happy and proud I am of you being #1. I literally watch you every day. You're my favorite podcast and YouTuber. Solomonster sounds off for life. I love hearing that, man. That's really cool. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy the content. It can be a slog sometimes. I enjoy it. It's not hard. It's very time consuming. So it's nice to know at least that people do like it and appreciate it. So when I get a message like that, it's very cool. Justin says, Yippee Skippy versus Sufferin' Succotash. Book it, brother. I'll take Yippee Skippy over Sufferin' Succotash any day of the week. Justin activated triple Be the Booker. So you're the one I can credit. Deathside says, when it comes to LA Knight, it pains me to say the only way I can see him winning the WWE title. Best case scenario, he holds on to it for a month. Worst case scenario, he is immediately cashed in on. I think the only way that LA Knight is going to win the WWE Championship is if he accidentally wins it and the referee fucks up the count. That's going to be the only way. At this point, it would have to be by accident. Phil with a $9.99. Imagine being at a company for 13 years, finally getting the promotion that you've always wanted, and then having it taken away just 9 days later. That's exactly how I feel about Sami. Well, yes and no. It's not like he's making any less money now than he was 24 hours ago. It is important to keep perspective on these things, though. I think when you're the champion or you're involved in the main event scene, you get more screen time, which means you get more opportunities to be on the show and maybe do stuff outside the ring as well. So, wins and losses and championships, they do mean something, right? They're not real. You're not winning anything. We know this, right? It's all a work, not a real sport. We get it. But it does mean something. So you're not wrong about that. But at the same time, like, you get a promotion, you usually get a pay raise. It's not like they took his pay raise away. He's still making the same money he was making. Well, I guess unless TKO comes to him asking for a fucking pay cut. He's still making what he was making before. I just hope that he's not shunned away so quickly. He should still be in that main picture on SmackDown. Phil, thank you again for the $9.99. We got Melik Gaming. Would this make sense? Says, Punk beats Cody at SummerSlam. Cody then turns Homelander. After Cody feud, Punk feuds with Gunther. After Gunther, finish off 2026 with him losing to Sami or returning Drew McIntyre. Would it make sense? Sure. Do I want to see it play out that way? No. We've already seen Punk and McIntyre. You blew it off in the best possible way. Inside Hell in a Cell. I don't want to see them go back to it. Sami, I think Sami is done. As far as the world title this year, at least this year. He's not getting that belt back. I don't think he's going to get the belt back again. So cross that off the list. Cody and Gunther, or Punk and Gunther, we've seen it already. I honestly don't really want to see it again. We saw it at SummerSlam last year. That's good enough for me. I need something better than this. I need something different. You can make it make sense what you've just laid out, but it's not what I really want to see. You know what I really would love to see? Now that Punk has the belt, if he's going to have it for a while, we need a Kevin Owens return. Like in the worst way on SmackDown. And I know they've been very off and on over the years, but as happy and proud as he was of his friend winning that championship, now you've given him a reason to have beef with CM Punk for showing up unannounced and taking the championship away from Sami Zayn. Or maybe he comes at it from a different perspective and says it should have been me taking the belt away from Sami Zayn. And so there you go. You already have an inspiration for a CM Punk Kevin Owens feud. I really hope we get him back soon. Death Sight says, can we get Aldis and Pierce in a bar fight at SummerSlam? See, that's unfair, though, because Aldis, I don't know if he's a teetotaler, but Pierce is clearly an alcoholic. So he would be distracted in a bar fight. That doesn't really feel fair to me. Prince Vegeta says, I gotta say thank you, Sheamus. Main event, upper mid-card, or tag team, he always knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. He deserved the IC at least once. Whatever role you put him in, man, he always excelled. Randy Bobandy with a $49.99. Well, I missed the show, got drunk, started to rewatch Shameless while making some viscous spaghetti. Just wanted to drop in, show some love, and send a Bobandy bomb. He's going to try to get that over. You're going to try to get a Bobandy bomb over as a thing? Works for me. I love the Bobandy bombs. Enjoy your viscous spaghetti. It's kind of an odd way of putting it. Jeremy Rose says, Pierce will accuse Aldis of stealing Punk from Raw. Good. Let's get a feud going between the two general managers. Enough of this Mr. Nice Guy bullshit. Death Scythe says, Maxine in theory as the it couple. There's only one it couple in WWE all time, and that's Macho Man and Elizabeth. Come on, man. We went from the days of Macho Man and Elizabeth now to the even better days of Austin Theory and Maxine Dupree. Jeremy says this leads to more contention between the GMs. I'm all for it. Let's build it up. I'm sure Aldis has indulged in the occasional pint of the London fog. Freddie McRae. Congratulations, Solomonster. Like Sami Zayn, nobody can ever take this moment from you. That's right. No one's going to be beating me for this moment. I could fall back down to number 2, number 5. It don't matter. I got that number 1 spot. Unlike Sami Zayn, nobody can take that away from me. He says, a transitional champion is still a champion. The summer of sound off. I like that. I like that. Summer of sound off. As we rapidly approach episode 1000. Thank you, Freddie. Jim. Oh, I thought they said Jim. JM. Maybe his name is Jim. I don't know. We'll call him JM. Knowing WWE, they'll have Cody beat Punk so they can run Cody versus Roman at Crown Jewel. Oh, God. What is your Crown Jewel predictions for men's and women's? Well, I mean, I would hope Io beats Liv so we can end this horrendous reign. And Rhea, I don't know what her injury status is, but I would love to see Io and Rhea at Crown Jewel. As far as the World Heavyweight Championship, Roman will be the champion. God, I mean, Roman and Punk seems very likely to me right now. I don't want to see the belt back on Cody. Not right now. I don't want to see that. To take the belt off Cody, to put it on Sami, to put it on Punk, to put it back on Cody. Like, I'm getting dizzy just saying that out loud. What is the purpose of this? James Crawford with the $100 red bomb of the night. Says, I love you, Solo. You are my IWC tribal chief. It's mutual, James. Thank you for the love. I will place my Ulafala around your neck, as Roman did to Jacob. Can we talk about that too, by the way? Jacob Fatu, someone who actually had real momentum after beating Drew McIntyre, coming out of WrestleMania, went on to get beat twice by Roman Reigns. And Jacob Fatu has been a complete non-factor on television ever since. He's just another guy on the show. It's terrible. Jeremy Rose says Saturday night's main event is looking like it is now WWF Superstars. It's not even Superstars, dude. It's freaking Velocity. They better shape that card up real quick. I have to imagine they have something up their sleeve, because for a Madison Square Garden show, that is an embarrassment. Deathside says, it's funny how Danhausen says he's very evil. I think 1991 Jake Roberts, 2003 Brock Lesnar, 2008 Chris Jericho, and 2009 Randy Orton would disagree. No, but he says he's very nice as well. He goes back and forth. He's very nice, very evil. There was nothing nice about any of the men you just mentioned. Freddie. CM Punk lost his first championship when Cody and Legacy attacked him in the head before he could defend his title that night. Hashtag poetic justice. Oh, that was the night they did the scramble, right? And Chris Jericho won? That terrible scramble match? I don't know. I was never a fan of that stipulation. The Shawnathon. I think as of right now, with Sami Zayn kind of playing between face and heel, should be a favorite for Money in the Bank in October by evolving the last good guy. Sami Zayn winning the briefcase actually does make a lot of sense. But honestly, like, they probably would have him cash in and lose. Like, I don't see him getting it back, dude. Base Beer says Hell in a Cell seems like a big escalation. It is. It's the perfect blow-off to a feud. That's why I said before, like, to go back to Punk and McIntyre, like, no. Been there, done that. You have the perfect ending to it. Leave it alone. Base Beers, thank you for the 2. And there's another 2. He says, hey, yo. Deathside says, buy or sell on these 2 matches that should have gotten 5 stars from Meltzer, but one match of the year in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. The other one match of the year in the Observer. Rock versus Hogan at WrestleMania 18, or Angle Benoit versus Edge and Ray at No Mercy. Oh, that was 2002. That was a great match. Rock Hogan. I mean, you just want to... If you want to go based on work rate, then you go with the tag match. If you want to go based on what I think is an example of a 5-star professional wrestling match, it's Rock Hogan. WrestleMania 18. Just the psychology of it. The way they were able to just play the crowd. Rock having to sort of adapt as the match went on. Once he realized that he was the villain, even though he really wasn't the villain in the story, but he sort of went with it. And just building to that moment where Hogan hulked up and nostalgia, it's a hell of a drug, man. Everything just, the stars aligned. Like, that match is pro wrestling. It's great. Super Pony, how do you think Sami feels right now? Not too good. You know, he got a lot of really genuine messages all week long from colleagues, probably tons of phone calls and text messages and DMs and people who work with him who were genuinely happy for him. And I'm sure they're all bummed. I mean, they're all wrestlers. They all work there. They get it. They understand it. And yes, it's a work. But they know him. They obviously like him and respect him. And they probably all feel really shitty for him right now. You know? He should feel really good about that match he had tonight. But I'm sure a big part of him is also like, man, you know, like 9 fucking days? Really? 9 days? Nick Grasso with a $9.99. I think I'm going to like Unhinged Lyra. Also, next week, she goes face-to-face with Bayley in Texas, where Tatum Paxley is from. Does Tatum make her main roster debut and beat down Bayley with Lyra? I actually like that idea a lot. I think that would be a great way to debut Tatum Paxley. I like it. Super Pony, after tonight, I realized I shouldn't get excited about KO coming back. They're not going to do anything good with him. He's 42, coming off a neck injury. Who's to say they don't ask him to take a pay cut? It's true. That's why they went to Sheamus and asked him to take a pay cut. Older guy, out with an injury, not really doing a whole lot, making really good money, as I'm sure Owens is. I wouldn't be shocked if Owens was asked to take a pay cut at some point. Deathside says, just like Mankind, Sami won the title in a triple threat and then dropped it on Raw. That's right. He won it at SummerSlam. The new one. I'm calling it now. Brock will lose to Oba in the Hell in a Cell, and Undertaker will come out after the match and induct Brock Lesnar into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2027. I'm going to say no. I don't think they've ever announced the Hall of Fame induction that early. I mean, look, being in Minnesota, I guess, it could make for a nice moment for him if he gives a shit. I'm going to say probably not, though. Retro KOH says, trivia, how long was Sami Zayn WWE champion? Tony Khan, 9 days. 9 days. 9 days. Yeah, what was up with him that night, man? God, those are the early days of the Dynamite reviews. Those are the COVID Dynamite reviews from Daly's Place. 9 days. You have 9 days. Deathside says, Oba should be the guy if Cody turns heel. Yes, Oba's on Raw, but let's be honest, the brand split is about as meaningful as the Andre Battle Royal. I feel you, but they're building to Roman and Oba. So Oba's not going to be the guy who would have to take Cody's place as the top babyface on SmackDown. They probably have him already slotted in on the other side. Devin from NJ says, buy or sell. Fans sing Roman Reigns or they sing Cody Rhodes. Dude, I am fucking done with both of them. I'm at the point now where I can't stand either one. When they sing the names, it's very annoying. Not annoying like the what chant, but it jumped the shark with me a while ago. We have Hercules Hernandez is with us. Wow, from the great beyond. I have my Hercules Hernandez LJN somewhere in a box. $20 super chat. Just want to ask if you're sick of Roman in the bloodline, and how long are we going to keep getting Roman headlining WrestleMania. Listener since 2011. Thank you, Hercules. Am I sick of Roman in the bloodline? I'm kind of over it. Or at least I wish they would evolve the story into something actually interesting. Roman headlining WrestleMania. He's going to headline a whole bunch of more WrestleManias. We're not anywhere close to being done. In fact, I dare say we're in the, I don't know, 6th inning maybe? He's probably got at least 4 or 5 more WrestleMania main events. Yukio rules. Thank you for everything you do, Solo. Also, does your brother have any favorite wrestlers from when you all grew up together or currently? From when we were growing up. I mean, he was, I think, pretty much a fan of a lot of the same people I was, as far as, you know, Macho Man, you know, Mr. Perfect, people like that. I don't think he had any, like, one person that, like, head and shoulders above the rest that he was, like, a massive fan of. Today he doesn't, I mean, he barely pays attention to it. He doesn't give a shit, so. Deathside says FOTC means face of the company. Okay. I don't know why some people were shocked I didn't know what that means. I mean, does everybody know what FOTC means? Am I like the only one? Some of you make me feel like a leper. How do you not know what FOTC means? There was somebody before. Fuck me. I don't know. I thought it meant fuck the OTC. I keep track of all these acronyms. He says, buy, sell, rent. What would hurt worse, being bitten by a vampire, a zombie, or a werewolf? What would hurt worse? I mean, I would imagine being bitten by a werewolf, right? Beyond the actual bite. Like, then when you have to, like, change into the werewolf. If you've seen some of these, like, werewolf transformations in movies, like with the CGI effects and everything, it looks awful. It looks like torture. I wouldn't want to have to turn into a werewolf. Edward Brooks. Bailey said Lyra was the person that kept her level-headed. Perhaps voices come back and we will get Crazy Bailey against Angry Bird at SummerSlam. Boy, they forgot all about Crazy Bailey and the voices, didn't they? EJ Slump, I consider you a top wrestling historian into history beyond wrestling. Or am I into history beyond wrestling? Did you like history in school? I was a history major and that's why I asked. I did like history in school. I did, yeah. I took, even in college, I think I took politics, history. Yeah. Not like a savant or anything like that, but I took an interest in it. It's too bad more people don't. Mystic J44, do you think that we'll get Evolution again this year? No. Deathside says, why did Sonic dump Amy? Because she wanted to take things slow. And Paul Carpenter says, Lyra's not a bird girl anymore. She's a caw-caw girl. A caw-caw. I see. I see what you're saying. Don't quit your day job, Paul. You gotta leave it to the experts. Super Pony says, do you think Owens and Zayn would get proper world title runs in AEW? I mean, maybe not. They'd have a better chance at it, but not necessarily, no. There's so many more belts in AEW that they don't have to be world champion. Tony would just put the Continental title on them. He'd have, like, Owens win the Continental Classic or something. I wouldn't mind seeing Sheamus in there, I'm not going to lie. In the C2. Deathside says, if Amy Rose was a villain, I guarantee her theme song would be Hammer Smashed Face by Cannibal Corpse. And Super Pony says, Kevin Steen, MJF promo battles. I need it. That would be something, wouldn't it? Oh my God. Those promos would be incredible. Deathside says, speaking of werewolves, I highly recommend the horror movie Dog Soldiers. I've not heard of that one. You know what movie actually kind of stuck with me for a while? I'm not even saying it's like a great movie. It's not like a horror movie actually at all. The situation is kind of a horror, but there was a movie with Justin Timberlake that came out probably like 06 or something. Maybe it was earlier. Alpha Dog, which was either inspired by or based on an actual story, which makes it even worse. Man, that movie, that fucked me up, man. Just knowing that was a real life situation, if you know the premise of the movie. That movie stuck with me. Actually, Timberlake was not bad in that movie. But that movie, I don't know, you mentioned dogs. For some reason, I thought of Alpha Dog. I haven't seen that movie in forever. But yeah, that movie messed me up for a while. Anyway, I think we have gotten through, I believe, all of the messages, all of the super chats, man. You guys, we had a big week last week. And you guys have started this week off in a way that I don't know that we're going to be able to top. Although we do have a big Dynamite coming up, Beach Break on Wednesday. Kenny Omega, MJF for the AEW World Championship. And the Women's Casino Gauntlet should be a big show on Wednesday as well. But we have, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, 4 rounds. 4 rounds of Be the Booker to do. So we're not going to waste any more time. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Ladies
Exciting.
and
Exciting.
It is now time to be the Booker.
I'm excited. We're going to book some matches. We're going to book some good matches, too. I can feel it. I got a good feeling about this. We're going to get started with the Butcher and the Blade, who are no longer employed by AEW, by the way. I believe they are free agents. Never won the tag team titles in AEW. For as many titles as they have in that company, they never were able to capture those championships. They were there in the early days, and then they kind of fizzled out after a while. The Butcher and the Blade. Oh, this is a fucking Rampage match against the Outrunners. I mean, I like the Outrunners and all, but my God, I mean, can we book something above the level of Rampage? That's just straight out of that show. Come on now, man. WWE is doing a terrible job of booking Saturday night's main event. I would like to take over and book the show at Madison Square Garden. So I need some big matches here, man. We got to do better. Choose 4 women and book a tag team match. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Women's tag team belt. Hey, Brian in the chat. What's going on, Brian? I see you. We have Ruby Soho. This is all AEW talent so far. We need a WWE person in here. Ruby Soho and Meiko Satomura are going to be a tag team. She's retired, by the way. Ruby and Meiko are going to be taking on Shayna Baszler, who we just announced is coming into House of Glory for High Intensity, coming up on August 7th. The Queen of Spades is coming back. Shayna Baszler and not Timeless, but Toni Storm. Man, we have not had a single WWE main roster star yet through 2 rounds. But I do like that match. Toni Storm and Shayna Baszler as a tag team against Meiko Satomura and Ruby. That's a good match right there. All right, now we have our first of 4 main events. 4 of them. This is what you guys have unlocked tonight. That's basically a full Saturday night's main event card when you think about it. You have 4 matches, right? Yes, this has been very AEW heavy. We need some WWE influence here. Well, I don't know. I mean, what do you say? This is kind of still AEW. We have the American Nightmare. We can't escape him. Cody Rhodes. Is it fair to say now that we have some WWE flavor? Because it's kind of still AEW. He was an EVP. He's one of the founding fathers. You may not like him, but you can't escape him. He may not be hard to find, but he's hard to beat. Cody Rhodes is going to be stepping into the ring with Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley. This is, wow. Be the Booker is, I think Be the Booker has been converted into a sicko. I think Be the Booker has gone full sicko tonight. Wow, Be the Booker has made its choice. On which side of the fence it wants to go. Well, that's only round number 1. Now, we have stipulations the whole rest of the way. But remember, before we get to that, if you remember the first Super Chat goal, it was for an intergender round of Be the Booker. So before we actually get to the stipulations, we actually have to book an intergender match. Don't think I forgot about that. Retro says, Be the Booker is all elite. All right, we get 1 intergender match, and then we move on to round number 2. It's going to be, well, I mean, we call her Daria, or we call her Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville. Against who? Against Vikingo. I feel bad for Vikingo. I'm going with Sonya to win this match. I think Sonya would actually probably give him a pretty tough fight. It's unfortunate, though. It's kind of funny, actually. Well, not funny, but like we land on Vikingo here. We got an update. We got an update on Vikingo. It's not good. He injured himself last week prior to the NXT show. Like earlier that day, I guess maybe going over his match or something, and he hurt his knee. He had wrestled Rey Fenix on SmackDown the night before, which was taped. And they had a really good match. He was fine. He got hurt during the day on Tuesday. Had an MRI done. We don't have an actual diagnosis, but he's having surgery. So whatever it is, it's serious. Because if it wasn't serious, he wouldn't be having surgery. So I don't know if it's a torn ACL or exactly what the injury is. His leg is in a brace. He posted pictures on his social media, and he's going to be having surgery. So I don't know what that means for the AAA Latin American title, but he's going to be gone for a while. I don't know what that means for Omos. Omos has nobody to look after now in AAA. All right, now let's move on to round number 2. And from here on out, we have stipulations that we will pick at random for each of these matches. So we're going to begin with, man, I'm telling you, man, what is going on with Be the Booker tonight? First stipulation. And we see Hangman just drenched in blood. It is a Texas death match. This is out of control tonight. We'll start with the men then. I mean, we're gonna do a Texas death match. We'll do it with the men. Big Bronson Reed. If you've seen pictures of him online, he's not quite as big anymore. But hey, we finally got a WWE guy. Man, Big Bronson Reed in that Texas death match. Oh. Oh no. This is very depressing. This is very depressing. How can we land on this tonight? Oh man. Ah. This is just a bummer of an image here, man. I mean, look, this is happier times. This is much happier times for Sami Zayn. This was only a few days ago. This Be the Booker is very cruel, man. This is like a sick joke. Oh man. That is very, very cruel. Tonight of all nights. All right, we need a stipulation now for a women's match. Oh my God. First ever female Punjabi prison match. Are you ready? Are you ready for some Punjabi prison with the ladies? Jordan Grace. Who's that? I don't know who this person is. Who's Jordan Grace? Is she a wrestler? I don't know, but she's in the Punjabi prison. Well, there she is again. Jordan Grace against Meiko Satomura in a Punjabi prison match. And despite the awful stipulation, I actually think that would be a very good match. I think they would just sort of, you know, have themselves a great wrestling match, and when the time was right, now what is the stipulation? You got to climb out, right? We'd get a great wrestling match out of it, and then when the time was right, they would climb out. She's pulling double duty tonight, though. She's supposed to be retired. Not only is she out of retirement now, she's pulling double duty on this show. We're going in reverse, if you couldn't tell, because now we're going to do a tag team match. This tag team match is going to be a tag team Lion's Den match. Oh, these are... I'm still on the stipulations. All right, here we go. We have a Lion's Den tag team match with Big Show and Miz. Miz Show? Biz? I don't remember their tag team name. And they will be taking on the Street Profits. Also, did not have a very good night like Sami Zayn, but here we are with the Street Profits. I have to bell that one just because of how fascinated I am at the prospect of a tag team Lions Den match. Doesn't seem like there would be a whole lot of room to maneuver with 4 people, especially if you had someone like Big Show in there. Oh, Show Miz. I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong. What a terrible name. How fucking lazy have they gotten with tag team names in the last like decade? Good Lord. All right, well, we're halfway there. We are halfway there. We have round number 3. Was that a Sonic? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I could have sworn I buzzed one of them. Well, I guess not. All right, so we got one sweep. We have Tribal Combat. Oh, boy. It's going to be the Battle of the Ulafala, everybody. Tribal Combat is about to go down. And even better, we're doing Tribal Combat with the ladies because we're going to start with the women this time. I don't even know if that's allowed. Are the women allowed to have Tribal Combat? I mean, there may be rules against this sort of thing. I don't know. Oh, it's Lei Ying Lee, the former Xia Li and the now former TNA Knockouts champion. Okay. In Tribal Combat. Against Medusa. Nothing about this match makes any sense. Why would they be in Tribal Combat? Yeah, that's a miss. That's a misfire is what that is. We have a tables match. See, this is one we could do with the tag teams. We have a tag team tables match here. We have Hollywood Hogan and the Worm, Dennis Rodman, both WWE Hall of Famers, by the way. In a tables match with Ahmed Johnson and Stevie Ray. There's Clarence Mason. Who is that in the background? That's Clarence Mason in the foreground. That's not Master P, is that? It's Clarence Mason there in the foreground. Man, this is not going well. This might be the first reverse sweep that we have of the night. This is not going well. Oh, we have another intergender. You know, I just realized that tag team match is like Hulk Hogan's worst nightmare. If you know, you know. Intergender match. We have an we just did an intergender match. Now we get to do another one. Aren't you excited? Well, we should be able to do better than Sonya Deville. What was it? What was the one we just did? Sonya Deville? My God, I already forgot what the match was. Well, whatever that match was that we booked 3 minutes ago. Zoe Stark. There's another one here. Never really got the chance to come back and tell that comeback story in WWE. It's going by Zoe Serrano on the independent scene now. Oh, Vikingo. Thank you. Yes. We had Sonya Deville against Vikingo. This time we are going to have Zoe Stark, just back from a devastating injury, about to be put on the shelf with another devastating injury. Oh my God. This was just, oh man. This round was just all over the place. This was what, round number 3? This was not it. This round was not it. Poor Zoe Stark, by the way. Just came back from injury. Now in there with the world's strongest man. The Hall of Pain. It will not end well for Zoe Stark. All right, this is it. Round number 4. We need a comeback. We need a comeback here. We're kicking off with a tag team parking lot brawl. Here we go. The fuck is wrong with Be the Booker? I don't know. Something's off with Be the Booker tonight. We have Pretty Deadly, Kit Wilson and Elton Prince. Poor Kit Wilson is just sitting around now after being electrocuted a few weeks ago. Nobody seems to give a shit. Elton Prince, I don't know when he's going to wrestle again. Tag team parking lot brawl with Pretty Deadly. Against the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. The parking lot brawl is, I think, a potentially very fun stipulation. If it works the way that the original one worked with Cena and Eddie, you have all these cars in a circle, and everybody is just kind of hanging around. They're honking the horns, and they're cheering them on, and you just have a giant brawl. Now, they had a parking lot brawl in AEW that was really good with, I want to say, what was it, Best Friends against LAX? Is that what it was? Or Proud and Powerful? I think that was the match. I remember that one being very good. So, I mean, this one has potential. I'll give that a bell. Yeah, that's a total Judgment Day win right there. You guys got to be picking winners as we go along here. We have, the dread. Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you got me, bro.
The dreaded Yappa Pie strap match. Get ready for the strapation, everybody. I hope the ladies are ready. We have a women's Yappa Pie strap match on the way. Nobody wins here. There are no winners, only losers. We have Cora Jade. Cora, what is that? Don't you know what? If you don't know what a Yappa Pie strap match is, don't even bother asking. It's very real, though. Ronda Rousey in a Yappa Pie strap match? Oh my God, that sounds absolutely awful. Absolutely dreadful. Cora Jade against Ronda Rousey in a Yappa Pie strap match. It all comes down to this. This is it. We're almost 3 hours in. This would be like the main event of a 3-hour SmackDown. You've made it this far. We need to make it worth your while. We need a good stipulation. We have a submission match. Not a bad stipulation. Could be a lot worse. I like it. So here we go. No pinfalls. Submissions only. This is the longest and largest, by the way, edition of Be the Booker that we have ever done. This is tremendous. We have, oh no. Oh no. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's back. Yoshihiko. Yoshihiko, the blow-up doll, is in the main event of Be the Booker in a submission match. I cannot believe. I cannot believe that Yoshihiko has... we just had Yoshihiko a few weeks ago. ring the bell. No. We got to find an opponent first. What is that? There's so many people who are uncultured in this chat who have no idea. Fuck this. Let's get in a second drum roll. How do you not know Yoshihiko? Gotta know your wrestling history. Yoshihiko and Shingo Takagi. There you go. What a fucking main event. Yoshihiko and Shingo in a submission match. That's it. That's it. What do you think of the overall card? Is it better than Saturday night's main event? I think so. I would say so, yes. Super Pony says, would they ask Randy to take a pay cut? No. There are certain people who I think they know better. And I cannot imagine going to Randy Orton and asking him to take a pay cut. Who goes over? Yoshihiko, clearly. Yoshihiko strikes the main event scene again. You know Yoshihiko is going over. Kevin says CM Punk, CM Punk. I like Sammy, but I'm glad that Punk won. Well, so was everybody else in Chicago based on the sounds of it tonight. Super Pony says, am I wrong to feel like Braun Breaker and Gunther are dead characters? I don't feel anything when I see either one of them on TV anymore. No, you're not wrong. I wouldn't say I don't feel anything like when Gunther's on screen, but he's definitely lost a lot of the aura that he had earlier in the year. He just feels he's lost something. And Breaker has absolutely lost something. Jacob Fatu, I mean, he's worse off now than he was going into that feud with Roman. I mean, this is a problem. This is a problem with multiple people right now in WWE. It's not good. And Navy, 4181, send Sammy to AAA as El Generico. It did wonders for Kaiser, plus he'll be in good hands with the Undertaker. I don't know why he called him the Undertaker, but that is fucking hilarious. That would be the most hilarious autocorrect in the history of autocorrect. The Undertaker. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. EJ Slump says, as Yoshihiko's #1 fan, as much as I love Shingo and Okada, I wish Yoshihiko was facing American talent instead. Well, maybe Yoshihiko could go on excursion. Send Yoshihiko on excursion to the States. The only thing is, like, to get Yoshihiko's work visa taken care of, it might take some time. I don't know where that. It's what it says. It's what it says in the super chat. Mikey claiming, why don't we see submission matches anymore? I don't know. I mean, there's a decent number of people I feel like who have submission finishers. Gunther with the sleeper. Look at Rusev tonight. He won with the accolade. Punk has the Anaconda Vice. I mean, there are others, so they could do it. It's just not a very popular stipulation. You have to save it for, I guess, the right occasion. And preferably have two people who are either submission specialists or they have a submission move. And then you can do it. But it's not a very sexy stipulation. You're not going to sell any tickets or ESPN app purchases with a submission match. Ooh. Book Yoshihiko to HOG. That's interesting. Could be some tough negotiations going on. I'm going to need an interpreter first. I may have to look into that. And Super Pony, we never got KO against Sheamus one-on-one. That sucks. That does suck. And they spent many years together on the main roster, and they never had a singles match. That's crazy. Holy Shit Wrestling, have you ever seen the 108-man Japan Rumble in 2011? I have not. I am unaware of this. That's a lot of people. How many rings? 108? Anyway, thank you guys. This has been a blowaway stream here. We just passed the 3-hour mark. It is almost 2:15 in the morning here on the East Coast. Big Raw. And we got a big Dynamite coming up on Wednesday. Again, MJF, Kenny Omega. If Omega does not win, he can never again challenge for the AEW World Championship. Why are they doing this on television and not saving it for Redemption? Hopefully that will become clear at the end of the show on Wednesday, because on the surface, it seems very stupid. Takeshita is defending his international title against Kyle Fletcher. Takeshita is on his way to Japan very soon to be a part of the G1, so I would keep an eye out for a title change there. Jericho and Ciampa, and then the Women's Casino Gauntlet. Athena enters in number 1. Maya World enters in number 2. The winner will challenge Tekla for the Women's World Championship at Redemption. So, big show coming up on Wednesday. Any new movies that you are going to be seeing soon? I have my tickets already purchased for The Odyssey next week, I believe on Thursday. Wish me luck. It's a 3-hour movie. You know how long it took me to finally see The Batman. I was very intimidated by the runtime of that movie, but I will be seeing The Odyssey in it's not even real IMAX. I mean, it's what they call LIMAX. It's an IMAX screen, but it's not real IMAX. It's like maybe a slightly bigger regular screen. It's the best I could do. So anyway, that'll be the next movie I see. So I'm looking forward to it. In Nolan, I trust. I'll just say that. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. In Nolan, I trust. That'll be the next one. All right, be well. Stay safe. Thank you guys again for this. Again, we were number 1 on the Apple Podcast charts. A nice thing to wake up to this morning. Being in the number 1 spot was very cool. If you haven't listened to episode 970 of The Sound Up, please go ahead and check that out. And also, tomorrow, I'll be working on this in the morning. After I have breakfast, I'm going to be recording a brand new episode of the Uncrowned Wrestling Show. That'll be dropping tomorrow on the Ariel Helwani Show feed, wherever you get your podcast from. So hopefully you can help us climb the charts there as well. Can't do it without you guys. And then tomorrow night, I'll be live with JD. A lot to talk about on a brand new episode of Tuesday Night Titans. What else did I miss? We have the Sheamus video that I did, breaking news, up on the channel as well. We got more clips from the pod hitting the channel in the next couple of days, including my my retort to Triple H after his recent comments on the Stephen A. Smith show. That'll be going up tomorrow afternoon, so please go ahead and check that out. And that's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you for the love. I'll see you back here on the stream on Wednesday. Until then, take care, guys.